Remarkable. Truly. Remarkable. Truly.
The pound how you ended up. You have nothing in your skull. The dark will claw.
My head. My head.
Yeah, the debate video is up here for as long as it lasted. I have my little ear condom, you see. Well, a study of decadence when societies commit suicide. Why not? Yes, we go now to the classic paintings of the Romans to make a point about the fall of Rome. Let's go. Let's go. I love it. A very historically informed perspective that has not been done billions of times before by people with no education on the subject. Let's go. We don't have to take this guy seriously anymore. Now that my understanding of this guy includes the knowledge of the fact that he said there's no ideological relationship between the abolitionist movement, the civil rights movement, and the Vietnam movement, I don't have to take anything he says seriously. Anytime he says anything, I can just instantly assume that he's wrong, because anybody who believes that doesn't have to. I like when he pretended to have a meeting again too. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Alright, let's learn what made the Romans go down. Was it gay people or women?
Decadence. If you know what that word means, it should evoke images of giant Roman orgies with peacocks in the serving tables and people vomiting up their food so they can wolf down another round. Alternately, the triple chocolate cake at your local bakery, which is marketed as decadent. However, what actually is decadence? It's a very vibey word. People throw it around a lot, not really knowing what it actually means. However, I'd like to look deeply at decadence here. What is it? What forms it? What does it lead to? What it consists of? And most importantly, are we decadent and what we can do about it? This will be a painful journey through the time in history where history just stopped since people were too busy drinking plum wine while sleeping with their Circassian slave girls. What? Hi everybody, I'm Riker, the guy behind Winterfell Tisk, and decadence is in a lot of ways symbolized by men's luxury and status. And nothing symbolizes that than a landed title, an experience you can get with established titles.
Oh, God.
Established Title is a company that sells you a lordship in Scotland. Yes, if you can become an actual lord holding a title and land in Scotland, you can brag about it to your friends. It also makes a great gift for friends and family.
Wait, is this an ad?
Mind if I do?
Your title's official piece of land in Scotland. Established titles also plants a tree in order so that you can preserve the pristine woodlands in Scotland.
Wait. Oh my god. This motherfucker has an ad roll for buying a lordship in Scotland.
And thus help the environment, which makes a pretty good gift. Right now, established titles don't.
Okay. It's not real, it's a scam. You won't actually become a lord. Yeah, no shit. You can't buy a lordship. No remnant of aristocracy.
From this body.
Okay.
Early 11th century, two different millennial-old proud civilizations are under attack from barbarians to their north. Indians being invaded by Baku the Ghazi, one of the greatest commanders of all time, and Turks obscure origins to command of an army of Turks and Afghans invading India. Mahmud's army slams to the Gangetic Plain, a region here then populated by tens of millions of people. He fights at the Battle of Chab, very outnumbered, and somehow wins against the local Indian forces. The Turkish armies are able to ride circles around the much larger Indian armies, having the Indian elephants trample over the troops.
It exploits a legal loophole allowing people who own land in Scotland to call themselves lord. Okay, I don't...
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Wacko shit it is.
He then rapes the And how did the local Hindu Rajas respond? Not by improving their militaries or taking on the tactics that made the Muslim conquerors so powerful. Instead, by building temples to please the gods to grant them victory. Over the next 300 years, the Muslims gradually conquer almost all of India, outnumbered 100 to 1 in population. Meanwhile, in China, the exact same thing is happening with the Song dynasty, which is facing invasions from the Liao people of Manchuria.
Fuck. I hate the history shit because I feel like he's probably wrong about almost everything. I'm just gonna skip to when we get to modern history. Because I know that if I was like, if I had less history nerds on call, they'd be like, wait, all of this is being oversimplified and yeah, it's wrong. This guy gets torn apart in the bad history subreddit. So there's no reason to listen to any of this. Let's see if we can get to a point in time that I'm more familiar with.
Caesar would just casually write out the native tribes of the land, the calls had gone soft in urbanization and contact with Roman luxuries, and so was moving out to the more savage Germans with either of those. Alternately, one of my favorite, I think one of the most talented history writers of all time, Amory Doriancourt, would write about how certain Asiatic peoples, like the Chinese or Indians, had gone soft against tribal groups like the Mongols or Afghans in the 1950s, and that was just due to the consensus historical opinion at the time. The only big group of people that have ever argued that decadence doesn't exist across history are Marxist materialists. People believe in people.
We're just skipping around and this is what we get, man. Okay.
The only important factor in the development of human society is economic factors, something that's extremely easy to disprove and pretty simplistic. And thus for Marxists, to try to explain history with something like culture.
Do you remember when I tried to pin him down on the definition of postmodernism, and his answer was postmodernism is when you lie? Like, it was like, yeah, postmodernism is about the abolition of truth, but also he thinks that it's trying to impose a single hegemonic truth. He's like, well, how do you resolve that? And he's like, well, they lie. And it's like, okay, so postmodernism is just when you lie, and it's just like, well,
or chance, or real soft human terms, they will say that it's not scientific since it's not related back to empirical economic conditions. Marxists have always been incentivized to push their
give me to the
theory of history and economics, which they say is inevitable since it's really the only way they can justify their economic plans that are otherwise horrifying and foolish.
This dude seems probably self-firing. Be careful. Yeah, he does have those lives.
To take another dragon attack.
Yeah, I like this map, by the way. Savagery that lay outside of history. All of Africa. The less colonized part. This is a Marxist view of the world in 1850. So this is what Marx wrote. Okay? So what Marx wrote was that everything in pink is Oriental despotism. Everything in green is agrarian feudal state with support capitalism. Blue is capitalism. And gray is savagery that lay outside history. Did he use those terms? Karl Marx drew this map with his own hands. I forgot yellow, which says, because this video was uploaded in low resolution, Marx didn't care about Southeast Asia, but the societies here were really dead ringers for the slave level of development he had for race and something. I have no idea.
However, even if we couldn't disprove the communist understanding of
Now it's a new thing. I can't. Moving on. God help me. This guy.
understanding of human history that's just really at odds with the actual human condition. At the same time, the post-World War II reaction against Nazism meant that comparing any two cultures to show which is superior is seen as wrong and made the study of decadence kind of taboo as well. And I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see that changes in human culture have had profound effects on history. Think of how, for example, in our own times, how changing attitudes towards gay people have altered our society. Alternately, look at how we say we wouldn't challenge someone to a duel like we would...
What? What? Is he saying that when things change, they change?
300 years ago, and comparing to how crime stats have worked out since then, I think in almost all cases our grandparents were better than we did. Once you magnify all these... I think in almost all cases our grandparents how crime stats have worked out since then. I think in almost all cases...
Wait, is he implying that people do more crime now because dueling isn't legal? Wait, what?
Blackets will be done.
Crime has gone down! Historically,
The console,
murder
the
and rape
console
and
hums
theft
to
and
life.
assault used to be
Suddenly, then
near
discomfort
ubiquitous
fades,
facts of the
and
world.
another
Now they're
sensation
far less
washes
common.
over you.
Also, the people who
Connection.
did duels were landed aristocracy,
Authority.
not the common people. The people who did dueling back in the day weren't the people who
You
were stealing
feel-
loaves of bread in the street.
Let's get going.
Those are different groups of people. What?
The console hums steadily.
cases our grandparents worked harder than we did. Once you magnify all these
fades.
subjective cultural shifts over history, you can see how the real human character of society has immense effects in the course of history. There's this theory of a three-part structure to the development of societies that we've seen starting...
No one's...
At last.
It's the Joe Rogan. It's that the strong men, good times, men hard, men strong, are gay men. Yeah, it's the same. It's always the same thing with that. This is Nazi shit, isn't it? Yeah, it's Nazi shit. It's the standard course of affairs here because
Dangerous company.
the best argument
Let me come
fascists
with you.
have ever been able to amass
It's
for
not
their
enough.
their
She's
beliefs
right.
is basically like the vibe checks are off. Basically, things are really good right now, and also it's not illegal to be gay. Therefore, every bad thing that happens from now on is because we didn't make it illegal to be gay.
the Greeks and Romans, and many historians, including myself, still agree with.
Wait, he calls himself a
Let's get on with
historian
it.
now? Okay.
There's a view of history that we've seen Livy, Machiavelli, Ibn Khaldun, or the greatest social theorists in the pre-modern world, and the biggest geopolitical analysts today agree with. Society starts to state of barbarism, in which people are filled with vigor and a kind of unsophisticated power, just doing what they want without much clear thought, but making up with it in raw.
What? People just doing what they want with no clear thought? What the fuck does he think pre-modern societies were like? Yeah, dude, yeah, absolutely. The feudal, what? This is insane. The feudal post-agrarian civilizations were incredibly structured and orderly. What do we define as barbarism? Do we mean like the Vikings, as he's implying here? You mean these people who are wearing like chainmail that has to be made in a very sophisticated fashion through a supply chain that leads like iron to be brought to armor smiths? What are we talking about?
Power, just doing what they want without much clear thought, but making up with it in raw energy. This was Europe in the 16th and 17th centuries, a Europe in which trials were consider conquest of new worlds and the wars of religion.
Wait, Europe was barbaric when they were the conquistadors? Wait, Europe was just vibing and didn't know what they were doing back when they were engaging in global colonization of the planet? Wait, that's this guy's metric for barbarism? When they conquered the planet with colonialism and mercantile capitalism spread across the world? That was when Europe was vibing and just did whatever with their energy? What do you do? What? No, you don't understand the story. This is once again like a not even wrong talking point, where it's just, you could argue that like 1600s Europe was any stage of this development, depending on how fucking retarded your definitions are. Actually, medieval Europe was civilization because of the, you know, the scientific revolution and the Renaissance. Actually, 1600s Europe was decadence because the wealth held by the landed aristocracy and the nobility led to an increasing disconnect between the realities of the peasantry and the serfs and the landed aristocracy, which led to wars and devastation that eventually set the ground for the French Revolution. Like, you could just say anything. You could just say anything that you want. You could just make any argument.
These modern societies hate others for the sole reason of being different. Next, you see a basal civilization, which is a societal temperate savagery with rational thought and articulation, while also maintaining the vigor and energy that goes with the earlier stages. These societies are capable of thinking critically about themselves and making improvements, or taking in foreign ideas that work, while also maintaining a strong pride in their own culture. In modern Europe, as in the 18th and 19th centuries, the eras of the scientific revolution, enlightenment, and industrial revolution.
Western culture. That was the Enlightenment was in large part dominated by anti-monarchists and Democrats and liberals. That was the birth of liberalism in feudal Europe. He said you need to be proud of your culture. What do you want to bet this guy's definition of proud of your culture has absolutely no consistency whatsoever?
Heroes very much bend the laws of rationality and science to benefit society, while the common soldier still believes that God is willing to die for his nation and Europe's colonies grew. Finally comes decadence, which is honestly where Europe is today. Europe's young
modern Europe, beginning with the Nazis.
It came in the early 20th century when Europeans stopped believing in Christianity that had been the very bedrock of their societies.
What? Wait, what? Like 98% or some shit of Europeans believed in Christ back then. Even the Nazis did. They just weren't subject to the Catholic Church. A lot of them were still, like, Christian in their religion. They were Christians.
Light on my feet.
The Roman Empire. This resulted in a series of horrifying godless tyrannies like communism.
It's got such a fucking brainlet, dude. Godless tyrannies. Dude, listening to religious people try to talk about anything, or like really properly religious people, bring this one back on. Dude, this guy faked a doctor's appointment to run away from it. You really think he's going to come back on for round 2?
Fascism and the like, that killed over 100 million people. The Western society lost its virtue, say that. After a while, decadence. Maybe Europeans couldn't achieve their great goals.
Yes, the decadence of the Nazis followed up with the decadence of the hippie movement.
I need a little extra air.
This is true, well and truly a consistent.
Before me.
We must fight against the decadence. The decadence of dudes with beards meditating, the decadence of the death camps, you know, whatever.
Utopian future. And maybe Europe had been pseudo-colonized by its former colonies, but Europeans could at least build fair, prosperous, and justice.
What? God, he's so. You can't leave this guy alone for a second, man.
To be masters of the world and carving out a utopian future. And maybe Europe had been pseudo-colonized by its former colonies, but Europeans could at least build.
I love the text out here. It's not fair to describe Russia as a former Polish colony, but its core territory was, and it's a very poetic way of putting it. There we go. There's our history, lads.
Built fair, prosperous, and just societies.
No. I'm going to be controversial and use the latest migrant crisis as an example. We know.
Societies, most of those who
I'll read it. Large majorities of European publics and pool do not want more immigrants. That's true, depending on how you phrase it. Immigrants end up being massive economic drains to their economies. Not true. The only thing said immigrants supply is cheap labor, which Europeans also experiencing a glut of with large youth unemployment rates. Not true. Doesn't decrease the local employment wages. Immigrants commit crimes at a higher rate than the local European population. Migrants and immigrants aren't the same group. Refugees aren't the same group as immigrants. Those are not the same groups here. And still wrong. Most immigrant groups in Europe have terrible trouble assimilating to broader society. Unempirical, can't really be fine. The truth is that the European elite and diversity de-white as a progressive form of self-loathing. I knew this guy was a Nazi. No, this is literal just Nazi shit, yeah. European societies don't need diversity. They were the most successful societies in history of being practically entirely white. White with a capital W. However, the European elite loathes itself so much it pushes for diversity even against its own self-interest. Yeah. It's just Nazi rhetoric.
At the expense of a proud image of Europe. What happened here? How could Europeans have seen the signs coming? When had this happened before? What does it all mean, and what should we expect? Well, let's turn to historic precedents by the logic of decadence.
I feel like there's not even anything to tear into here, in large part because the arguments are so incoherent that I might as well be, like, debating alphabet soup, you know? Like, what am I supposed to say here? The decadence of Nazis, hippies is indicative. Like, what am I even supposed to say here? This is historical psychology.
Decadence and all its bizarre irrationality works. It is the willingness to put culturally constructed reality above reality itself. In this process, the cultural constructions become bitter at realizing their own weakness and thus trying to tear themselves apart, while ignoring the outside world that they fundamentally understand they are at odds with. Let me explain. Humans operate through two different kinds of genetic selection. There's sexual and Darwinistic. Darwinistic selection will try to explore as better spears and invades and conquers your people, thus killing you all and having their genes succeed.
What?
What's inside?
Darwinistic selection is when the other tribe invades you? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god! Do you think this is Darwinistic selection? Because he doesn't believe in evolution, right? Because he's like super religious, right? So he has to... It has to be he doesn't believe in the theory of evolution. So it would be... Yeah. So that's what he means.
Sexual is the girls, or accurately across most societies, the parents who arrange marriages, prefer mates from, say, a certain religious group or people who wear a certain fashion, thus resulting in their greater genetic proliferation. The adoption of, say, modern professional militaries is driven by the first trend, and the adoption of the hippie New Age values since the 1960s is driven by the latter, with the competing pursuit of survival.
I don't even... You could spend... This guy is unique. In terms of density of misinformation, I genuinely believe that this guy is more powerful than any other person on YouTube. I actually believe that. I genuinely don't think anyone else even comes close to the... Like, Ben Shapiro isn't even close. Like, Ben Shapiro can listen for multiple minutes at a time and understand what he's saying, disagree, and then, like, take that responsibility. This is legitimately... Every single thing that he says is wrong, and not only wrong in the implications that it sets forth. Yeah, it's spirit science. It's spirit science. Sexual selection. Girls subconsciously feel caring about the plight of the oppressed is a good proxy for empathy. Which is what treatment of sleeping with guys who leftist politics more. At the same time as the introduction of free love, thus modifying the sexual market, thus moving social norms to the left, starting around the 1960s. Wait, I thought he said that sexual selection had been going on for all of human history. Why does this begin the commodification of the sexual market? Is he an incel? All Nazis are incels.
You've made a grave mistake.
And structuring that move to the left around maximizing empathy for the oppressed. Okay.
Survival and popularity. In unhealthy societies, the things that make people popular are the things that result in society's survival. This is what societies are in a state of terrorism. People remain close to Earth and their surroundings, and so weren't too divorced from their natural biological nature, and so were able to keep their genes and groups surviving. If we exclude our early one.
But the death rates were higher back in those days. Wait, entire civilizations, ethnic groups, tribes, and villages were wiped out with incredible ease back in those days. How many communities and cultures did fucking Genghis Khan annihilate? What is he talking about? Guys, remember, the consistent argument here is just Nazism. What he's essentially arguing here is that return to tradition, i.e., into natural humanity, white tribes were able to protect their genes and their civilization because they weren't subject to cultural change through the left. I wonder, has this guy gotten more and more right in the past couple of months? Like, in response to my comment with him? Because when I talked to him in private, because by the way, he was scared me, so he asked to talk to me privately to establish a conversation for him. So we had like a 15-minute conversation privately, which I've never done before, by the way. And we had a pretty like friendly conversation too. Like, I'm not like gonna fucking shit talk him, like just like talk or whatever. But I feel like he wasn't as psycho as this. I don't know.
All the factors involved were the countries that were responsible and spread Western culture. While the military conflict in the 7th centuries really did set Europe up for world dominance. Even the witch trials were an effective Darwinistic way of weeding out non-breedable women and Star Wars native.
Okay.
But to keep going.
women prior to birth. Over time, as societies develop, strangely both intellectually and physically. Physically is obvious, but as the state becomes more powerful, people become absolutely external threats as much. What was true with all of the cases of decadence mentioned at the beginning was that people didn't have to face external threats from countries for a period of hundreds of years, meaning average people to stop thinking about really world war as a real possibility. We see this trend in much of the modern West, where in large parts of the West, whether countries like Canada, Australia, much of America, and Western Europe, war is something that happened in other eras of history, and the best way to remember...
What? Red is regions that think having a large military to wage offensive is morally wrong, and blue is regions that don't? What?
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
This is just one gigantic schizo post? Yeah, I guess. Australia, where do you go? He knows nothing about the He doesn't know anything about anywhere. But I don't... These maps really are just like a Paradox gamer's dream, aren't they? Like, he gets to have hundreds of thousands of people listen to him while he just makes up shit on a map. It's very satisfying filling in maps, by the way, you know? Just drawing big color blocks on a map with the transparency tool on so it only affects the land, and then just like filling in different colors feels amazing, you know? The funny thing is, you can just imagine him on MS Paint, and he's like doing squiggly lines, because he's like totally making it up, right? So like, he's like, yes, in the 13th century, what lines would denote civilizations were the most squiggly? And then he's just like, well, I can't make it a straight line because that looks arbitrary. I have to make it look squiggly, like super reliable data on like very specific, like county by county lordship like areas here. Yes, this right here would be the squiggly border. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And future wars just act as if they can happen. I asked a member of the chattering classes in these countries how they would deal with external threats, and they would start with milquetoast statements like diplomacy. It suggested what diplomacy really entails with coups, arranging revolts and local wars they'd shudder.
What? Wait, does he not think diplomacy can exist in forms other than coups and motivating revolts? Wait, does he have any idea? The reason Europe is enjoying an unprecedented era of peace is because they are using diplomacy to negotiate their problems, rather than... What? Milquetoast solutions such as... Dude, this guy sounds like such with the chatterers and the liberals look up at me, and they say, I didn't know diplomacy meant coups, can you help us? I look down and say, no, what the fuck is he talking about? Also, who thinks that a coup is diplomacy? Does that fit the purview of diplomacy? I've not heard it used that way.
One day I'll catch a break.
Huge black area reminds me of this. Oh yeah. Each dot represents 5,000 hogs. World Geometry 1948. Untapped infinite hogs supplied the ocean. Each state blind with an impenetrable wall swine. Let's get to the Canada and Mexico to hogs. This graph rules. The hogs have the world are completely surrounded.
Alongside diplomacy, your recommendations and denunciations, cooperation with the global community, and other things that are basically meaningless.
Cooperation with the global community is meaningless? What?
Cursed to put
The
my
whole
hands on
reason
everything.
the West became so powerful and is the arbiter of modern-day capitalist influence is because America and Western Europe dedicated more energy to like external colonial and neo-colonial efforts than to fighting with each other. That's the whole thing that made us like Western Europe wasn't like the global powerhouse back in the 1200s when France and England were all fucking throwing rocks at each other across the channel, you know? We turned our vision outward, and a lot of fighting was done over colonial power rather than like direct like wars between each other. Not entirely. I mean, Napoleon still existed, but there was still a shift. What's this infographic? It doesn't mean anything. None of this means anything.
Shift from creating to codifying the things previous generations created. A key part of this process is that ideological managerial elite seizes power, which requires eye for the second point of intellectual safety. And the start of...
Don't look up Oswald Spengler on Wikipedia, okay?
The tactical the should all be the matter that you
Let's get going.
Regarded as a nationalist anti-democrat, he did criticize Nazism due to its excessive racialist
since you
elements.
awoke, you know nothing of why.
But he did like Benito Mussolini. So there you go. He wasn't radical enough to like
As
Hitler, but
soon
he
as
did
you
like
doubt
Mussolini,
there is something.
who fought with Hitler. So there you go. There you go.
You're
And he was a
alive.
huge influence on the
I'm
Nazis, yeah.
alive. The divine tend to keep their
Basically, his
we
it
need
always
each
ends
other.
in Hitler. He was still like one of
Lead the
those
way.
Third Reich types, you know, shouldn't be as
In societies where people are close to the earth, they have to keep their values realistic. As an example, watching videos of Americans from 100 years ago.
Also, what does he mean by close to the earth? So, if we lived in a state of barbarism in 1600s Europe, does that mean all of human history was barbarism up until that point? What are we referring to?
It's remarkable to see how much more disagreeable people they were compared to the present. People were far willing to tell you exactly what they thought and why it didn't match up. That's because people were still clearing the frontier, and there was a clear set of strict values that if you didn't match up to, you were a loser. However, once society's elite becomes urban, they start to construct values that are more about pleasing other people who crowd around them on all sides, rather than the rural population who have to deal with the real world on a daily basis. Unless there's a massive development.
But the rural aristocracy have been a thing for millennia. What? Does he think that the kings and queens and landed aristocracy of feudal Europe were ruling from, like, the farmland? What? Yeah, Louis XIV, well known for trying to please his people. I remember that.
And the overall organizational difference between them. I can't think of a single war where a more urban country beat a rural one. Rome beat Carthage with the Soviet.
What? Countries with more urban populations almost always win against more rural populations because urban populations increase in proportion to industrial development. Like the whole history of colonialism, you have to understand that his definition of rural and urban, much like his definitions on all things, are completely different. They have these completely different definitions. What about the Civil War? You know, like the urbanized North, rolling down, burning Sherman, rattlesnakes and alligators, run away, run away, run away, run away, run away.
The Union beat Germany, and especially in light of the example of Britain and France in the 18th and 19th centuries. Britain was a country where the elite lived in the countryside, and France was one where the elite lived around the court in Paris. French politics in this era.
What? Wasn't the Royal Palace in where was the Royal Palace? The Buckingham Palace since 1837. So what about the older one? What was before the Windsor Castle? Windsor Castle. Is it still around?
Yeah.
Damn, that's big. Does this count as living in the rural? Does this count? What do we mean by rural? You see, the degenerate and decadent French aristocracy lived in opulence, whereas the modest, humble, rural English aristocracy, you see, they lived in comparatively humble, earthly environments. What are we talking about? I don't know. Rulers with no card. Yeah. You see, card societies always lose against non-card societies. True, though. Fruit-based. This is so incoherent, dude.
Basically existed to aggrandize the central court and maintain popularity, whether through faction, waging expensive wars to expand the monarchy, while agriculture and industry in the colonies floundered. Meanwhile, in Britain, where the elite were dispersed among the population, we saw agricultural mercantile.
What?
No one's stopped me yet.
What does this mean? Does he mean the landed aristocracy in feudal England lived in castles spread out across the farmland? That's the case.
What to do?
That's the case in feudalism. He means the landed gentry. Yeah, that happens a lot. That's a pretty normal thing. I have no idea what that is. Let's go. This guy never uses primary sources. Sources? In this?
Now, an industrial revolution while the colonies thrive. In every single decadent society, the elites are urban or removed from the means of production and compete in popularity contests against each other that is little mean the rest of the world. We've scarcely seen this trend develop in the Western world, where the governmental ruling classes have become government bureaucrats who have no relation to the real economic and social conditions that they live.
Yeah, that modern trend of presidential candidates being wealthy. As if all of the founding fathers, or at least most of them, weren't landed aristocracy who were led the rebellion against England and were enormously wealthy and powerful even under colonial American rule. What? Yeah, Washington was crazy rich. George Washington, wealth. Net worth in millions. 707 million. He was nearly a billionaire in adjusted wealth. And if you go by inflation, the second wealthiest president in all of American history, with Donald Trump being number one as a billionaire. Hey, who are these guys? Washington, Jefferson, another founding father, Teddy Roosevelt, Andrew Jackson, James Madison. How long before we have to go to find another ultra-wealthy president apart from Donald Trump? The person that what if all history no doubt supported, by the way. James Madison, Lyndon B. Johnson. Here we go. Bill Clinton, 90 million. All right, that's where we reach into the 2000s. Who's the poorest?
A hand?
Looks like they just go with the president 1 million. Base Abraham Lincoln. Base ass Abraham Lincoln. Hit it right here. Ulysses S. Grant. Goddamn right. But sadly, we also have Woodrow Wilson down here. So, is this before or after being elected? May occur after the president has left office. You know, it actually,
there are goblins over there.
there actually
Worth
used
checking
to
for
be,
supplies, maybe.
the presidency wasn't always given a retirement fund.
There. A mind
Yeah.
player. It's hurt.
Weren't there some presidents who died penniless? Yeah, Truman was one. Congress passed the national since they felt bad for him.
Monster.
Yeah.
Death is too good for it.
That's probably a good thing. It's probably not great for American political stability for there to be former presidents who are literally, in poverty. It's just, okay, I get it. I know they're already very powerful. It's probably for the best that they're not, it's literally on the street
Just a
begging
dumb
for scraps. I like real presidents. I like presidents that are broke when they get into office, not after they're done with being in office. Why? Okay, if you want to actually answer, think about it for a second. What do you think somebody with the political power and sway of a former president would be willing to do if what's at stake is getting money on the food on the table? Think about it for just a second. How pliable do you want former political leaders to be when it comes to their desperate need for wealth? Yeah.
Levy regulations upon. The economic leader giant corporations that distantly control their various continent-spanning empires, and the cultural elite are all socially isolated from the real world in wealthy bubbles in places like Los Angeles and New York. As society centralizes, it removes people's ability to act at a local level. When this occurs, it makes the leadership of the system dumber, since decisions are being made in the top by people unaware of the conditions at the bottom, rather than organically through the whole society.
But this is what all federal leaders are to do. The head of state is always going to be beholden mostly to top-level political issues. How often do you get leaders of an entire country that are like, yeah, let me manage this local farmland as one rule? What are you talking about?
People's actions are judged based on popularity inside their local social communities rather than actually spreading society in the real world. Stuff like agreeability, compliance, or being indoctrinated with the values of society become important. High society becomes a giant court where people try to fake agreeability and kindness, being allies rather than a war venom will speak and act plainly. This is definitely something I've seen in successful circles in America, where people act in overly polite and protective senses so as not to offend.
Powerful and wealthy people act phony to get ahead. There, I've simplified what he just said. That's all. That's literally all he's saying. Powerful and wealthy people act phony to get ahead. That's it. This is a universal thing. You can go back to goddamn Egypt and you'll have the high priests of Tutankhamun kissing ass with their superiors, okay? What is this slide? Women tend to dominate in high complexity, low competition environments like royal courts or bureaucracies. Women have dominated courts whether in China, Persia, France, or Turkey. So the term dominated here is kind of an extension of his personal sexual proclivities. Women do tend to have disproportionate political influence in courts, in large part because this is, well, at least has been historically considered to be woman's work, where they'll manage the affairs of the house and the affairs of the family and the affairs of the state in fashions which do not entail any direct power, but still allow for the exchange of influence. I have no idea why he's saying low competition environment like royal courts, because that's really, really dumb. People would be beheaded for poor performance in the PR game, Minster aristocracy. Yeah, low competition, okay.
Society takes on a more feminine character, and this sort of world generally plays in women's hands more effectively. What's happened in each of these decadent societies is that ideological structures develop to please other people rather than actually accomplish things. These ideological structures, in fact, try to push people away from the disagreeable real world, instead trusting their ideological documents above reality as people see it. This is a way to push away the anxiety of knowing the world they've created is fake. The historian Amory Doriakor also talks about the society's knowledge gets categorized in a list of okay subjects to study and have opinions on, so society is not intellectually challenged. In Confucian China, this was with forcing the entire elite to study Confucian and ancient Chinese texts that had no relation to their lives. In India, it was domination by a priest class, and it is...
Ah, yes, my friends. Imperial China. Imperial China. A place known for having leaders who were incredibly receptive to the will and want of the local population. Yes, clearly the imposed education was effective in making the Chinese aristocracy extremely beholden to the wishes of their people. And pay no attention at all to the wide, brilliant fucking civil wars that China has had. And peasant revolts and uprisings. Christ.
Al-Ghazali, who came to the conclusion that study of the Quran is more important than seeing the outside world, since God determined the outside world at his whim. In Greece and Rome, it was a study of the Platonic forms and Epicurean.
That's so fucking base, though. Guy who doesn't hold up while crossing the street, but does hold up the Quran to block his view, because God determines the orientation of the world anyway. So if he knows God, he will know the world.
These boots have seen everything.
That's a goddamn Giga Chad right there. Someone who just never looks up, but always knows what's going on around him. Like some kind of daredevil, except instead of hearing the sound vibrate off the surroundings, he can feel the voice of God telling him what's around him. That's base.
In every case, the only way to judge real-world problems was to read ancient texts. In this case, they're coming up with new ideas. In the modern West case, it's the idea of a big technology based on Christian values. We're not in the era of the Enlightenment where people throw around wild ideas on how to improve the world. Instead, we have a codified understanding of how to deal with the world that crowded with colonizing laws with the rest of the universe. The economic expansion of like our views of suspicion. Universities which are entry to elite health.
Survival isn't such a distant prospect.
Why would we want to aggressive war? How is waging aggressive wars, economic reform, and going to Mars all in the same category? What is he talking? I don't know what any of this means, dude. None of this means anything.
Ideological indoctrination camps at this point. In every single case above, the decadent elite which rule through control of ideas tries to then swap.
We got another map, lads. So there's Rome, 200 AD to 400 AD. And then we have both Rome and Islam. So I guess Rome didn't actually control northern Africa. It was actually Rome and Islam, the two leaders. Augustus Romulus and Dr. Bashir Islam shook hands and controlled northern Africa and parts of the Middle East collectively. And then you had Johnny Islam, which ran, the Middle East and what would be Pakistan and so on. Right? Yeah, Dr. Islam, of course. And then you've India, 300 BC to 1 AD, which is separated by several centuries from the time period described here in Rome. Why do we have the same map encompassing borders that range from 300 BC to... Okay. And then China contiguous but key points at 1000 to 1100 AD and 1400 to 1800 AD? And then everything else is when the merchant classes were regulated into to weakness across Eurasia on a civilizational basics. Is this the title? This is the title, or does it refer to all the red stuff? I don't... So this is the title, I guess. So this is when the merchant classes were regulated into weakness.
Wonderful to fail.
Whatever that means.
All possible competitors who often gain their power through real-world successes, like the military, business interests, or established religions. China roamed the Islamic world also through processes of self-imposed commercialization, which the elite regulated their economies into poverty. We've seen the large decline in Europe as a percentage of the world economy, dropping from 28 to 24% of the world's economy, while the U.S. remained a stable quarter. As part of the exact same process, Europe has been trying to turn back on capitalism, thus stop.
What? Backwards compatibility with modern-day GOP dogmas. Demon Mama, I feel like stuff like this is really good entryism into conservatism because this can get you in like anywhere, right? This is like a schizo conspiracy bait, right? Like this is the equivalent of getting people into a political position by trying to sell them essential oils and herbs. It is completely divorced from reality. There's nothing to look at here. It's like it is absolutely and 100% like your interpretive, you know, metric is what matters. It's just insane. It's absolutely insane. It's turned its back on capitalism. Okay.
Highest market technological development. I mean, just look at how Europe's contributions to science with Nobel laureates as a proxy is a great example of this. The logic
with Nobel laureates as a proxy? Wait, what? But Europe is massively overrepresented. Germany, France, Netherlands, Switzerland, the UK, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden make up nearly 50% of the total number of Nobel laureates in a part of the world that makes up maybe a sixth of the population. That's 3 times the proportional. Obviously, the USA is higher up here. It's almost like, hey guys, I keep hitting the space bar accent. It's almost like the likelihood of a Nobel laureate coming from your society is in some way related to the industrial and scientific capacity of that society. If you could imagine. Where's China on this map? China is a tiny red line down there that looks like it has 1 entry per year. I thought he was just making the argument that China was like outperforming Western Europe or whatever, but down there it looks like it's 1 or 2 people per year. I can see India, Canada, Ireland, Hungary, other Europeans, is this little white stripe down here, and then China is this tiny red line. You see it start right here where the mouse cursor is, and it doesn't get any bigger. It's smaller than Australia. So what's the point being made here?
Nobel laureates as a proxy is a great example of this. The logic of decadence is the gradual removal of every element of society that would try to make trouble or make life more complicated for the urban one elite living inside their ideological cages. And the subpart is removal of acknowledgement that there even is an outside world. As removed...
I do not know what that means. Is the point wealthy people often build enclaves of wealth and power and they become distanced from the needs of the proletariat? That's a Marxist talking point. Oh, you're telling me that the industrial elite in modern capitalist societies isolate themselves from the concerns of the working class, and therefore that any democratic system which prioritizes wealth as a factor in political decision-making is going to be anti-democratic?
Starian's an interesting
any reminder of the outside world forms, there becomes no reason not to indulge oneself. If your position of power is permanent, there's no need to worry about working or trying to justify it.
Sorry.
I question the wisdom of that. I'll be in.
The goblins are coming. The goblins are here. So true. The only map we need.
Look, any reminder of the outside world forms, there becomes no reason not to indulge oneself. If your position of power is permanent, there's no need to worry about working or trying to justify your position.
Okay, so I don't know if he knows this, but your position of power is permanent has been the default state of affairs for most power systems.
He's right.
Throughout all of human history. Because in monarchies or aristocratic systems, your power is literally given to you by blood. I don't know why he's acting as though this is some modern element of decadence. Earlier he was saying that Europe was in its barbaric state in the 1600s. Back when those in power would have had their power guaranteed to them regardless of their performance. Yes, guys, it is a meth pipe, not a crack pipe, not fixing it.
The tad, but the
This is where the word
my
decadence
people, be
association with
careful.
overindulgence comes from. If you don't know where the outside world, why not drink yourself silly, eat sherbet, and burn 100 miles by
They want to
slaves
take
or throw
advantage. You
orgies?
have
At the same time, once the moral code of society is based on popularity, there is...
Does anyone else feel like the reason they keep including these, like, fucking paintings? I don't know if this is wrong. This doesn't look like... No, whatever. I don't really care. Like, they keep putting paintings with titties in them because they get off to this. I feel like this is just Coomer bait. Like, is this not just Coomer bait? I think it is. I don't think there's any difference between this and having, like, a League of Legends, like, one-shot compilation, like, meme-tage, where the picture on the thumbnail is, like, Lux with, like, cleavage or whatever. I don't think there's a difference, you know? I think they do this for a reason, because, actually, I'm going to extrapolate a little bit. And I think one of the main reasons that they do stuff like that is because you're supposed to feel about this decadence a kind of impotent rage. See, I bet you most of the people watching this channel are much like women-apologists, weird about women, and a lot of their political views are kind of downstream of their resentment and envy towards women for holding, like, sex at bay from them. And I have a feeling that, like, when you're supposed to look at decadence, which is meant to be, like, the political archetype of what to avoid, it's supposed to, like, you're supposed to associate sexual proclivity with that decadence, right? Like, it's supposed to be a connection of the impotence and rage and frustration you feel like you can't be having complimentary sex with the, basically, what this really is this is the equivalent of 4chan green text posts, where they post school shooter bait by talking about how chads, get lots of pussy. Where the incels will read the long descriptions of how chads, like, fucking split in pussy every day, and you're supposed to be frustrated and humiliated and embittered by reading them, and it's supposed to make you angrier and angrier at the chad. You understand? You're being made angrier at the decadence because of the right monkeys that they get to play with while eating cake off the back of some fucking hoily-doily tablecloth.
Act as being ridiculous. If people have lost belief in some abstract external idea of truth, there's literally no socially accepted way to discount people who have become completely materialistic and debauched. In turn, society driven on
Wait, what?
belief in some abstract external idea of truth, there's literally no socially accepted way to discount people who have become completely materialistic and debauched.
Wait. He's saying the problem is when people become divorced from reality, but also it's bad when people become perfectly materialistic? Wait, I thought he just said that all these super powerful people who were decadent were becoming amaterialistic, that they were divorcing their understanding of the world from its material reality and thinking of it only as an abstract. But now he's saying that it's bad to be materialistic? It's so incoherent. It's completely incoherent. None of this means anything.
In turn, society driven on popularity contests, once being debauched becomes the norm, everyone must reach it, thus creating a competitive cycle of debauchery. An example of this is when late Republican Romans compete on how exotic animals they can eat, eating ostrich.
He uses materialists as Christians do when you care about pleasure only. So by materialism here, he means hedonism. Okay.
Crocodile and the like, spending ludicrous sums on importing these animals. In all these cases, we see court-like situations develop in which the elite looks down upon their own countrysides in the outside world, treating their social networks as the only world. In Asian societies, there's normally
Come on, man. Are we really? Okay.
emperor, with Bossing saying The Last Airbender actually being a decent example of the sort of thing that happened in real history, with the emperor never leaving his palace, with thousands of girls in his harem, thousands of bureaucrats monkeys in his life inside the
He didn't have a harem in the show. Okay.
palace, building a veritable whole city isolated from the rest of society. In Rome, this also happened on a local level, with provincial capitals operating as mini societies in much the same way. With average people so cut off from the mega decisions that would determine their lives, they start to become passive, fatalistic, and lose hope. Populations here.
What is this? An incomplete map of areas that have become social trust black holes due to evil empires. I'm not even going to tear. I'm not even going to tear into this. I have no fucking idea what this means. I have literally zero clue what this means. I couldn't even begin to guess. Right. So many loaded words. It doesn't mean anything. It's it's so incoherent. It is completely beyond critique.
Stop being proud of their societies and have to be whipped into battle, basically. When people wonder why South Italians don't trust their government at all, or so much of the money the U.S. put towards Iraq was spent corruptly, it's that these would be heartlands of decadent empires that screw their populations over so much that no one trusts anyone else.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
The reason the money we invested in the Iraq government went away due to corruption was because of the thousands of year-old hereditary gene of distrust that they passed on from their ancient empires. What?
They have the differing degrees around the world depending on how parasitic the regimes involved were. What we see with decadence...
By the way, I do think it's extraordinarily funny that for some reason his map here doesn't include Russia, in spite of the fact that Russia today, even before the invasion of Ukraine, it has a massive history of corruption, like all the post-Soviet states. Like, literally, everyone has a dash cam in Russia because nobody trusts the police to do anything other than take bribes when there's a traffic accident. But, like, for some reason, that's not blacked in? For some reason? I don't know. It's incomplete, he forgot about the USSR. Yeah. Implying he didn't just color in the map randomly. I think he might have just colored in the map randomly.
Differing degrees around the world depending on how parasitic the regimes involved were. What we see with decadence is a complete lack of interest in other societies. In India, with Muslim conquest, the Indians thought that they could learn from no other societies, and even that speaking non-Hindus would permanently pollute a person. Muslim visitors described Indians as the most arrogant people they'd ever met. When a British delegation arrived in China in the 18th century with rifles, steam engines, and clocks, technology literally centuries ahead of anything in China, the Chinese replied the British had nothing of value to them. The Romans and Greeks literally built their idea of civilization.
As opposed to the English, famously humble about the state of their society relative to others. As opposed to the French, famously humble about their state. What are we talking about?
I won't give in.
Not off any objective measures of development, but rather whether other cultures move in the same languages now. Something that may shock people is I think the modern West is headed in the same direction.
We sure do keep finding examples to put, like, naked people in these historical paintings.
People like to say the West in earlier eras was racist, which is totally right, but the West was also very curious of other cultures. The West adopted so much science technology from the Muslim and Byzantines during the Middle Ages. Meanwhile, you had massive Indian, Muslim, and Chinese fads in the Western world in the early modern period, with people taking fashion and ideas from those cultures. I mean, Schopenhauer and Hegel's philosophy was taken from...
But the interest we took in other cultures was the Korean where we didn't think they were doing things better than us. We thought that they had curious cultural artifacts that we could put in our museums. It wasn't a belief that we could learn from them like they're doing something better than us, you know. They're talking about like appropriative cultural engagement.
From India and the idea of the social contract.
It became a commodity to bet on, you know, having like some display piece taken from like colonial Africa or whatever, and it's like, oh yes, you know, it's
a modern secular bureaucratic state were taken from China. One of my biggest interests is anthropology and comparing different civilizations. And
really, you don't say.
Another fight. Let's go.
You basically have to read books like 1960s and people really start caring after them. It's shocking.
Ah, yes. You see, with reading on anthropological histories of the great peoples of the world, the Caucasoids, the Mongoloids, and the Negroes, it is essential to read books published before the passage of the Civil Rights Act. For after that time, for some reason, the type of research I was looking for just dried up. Fucking curious.
Popular travel and exotic documentaries and movies were before World War II. Now the people really care more about non-Western groups, but actual interest in the outside world collapsed. You never see real analyses of how Western culture differs from China or India.
You can see those everywhere. You just can't see them that phrase it in the way this guy wants to see. Like, this guy wants anthropological statements that are like, following thousands of years of Chinese, fastidiousness, we might see in their culture pervasive. Like, he wants, like, really dumb sweeping statements. He basically wants anthropology the way it was treated back then as an actual science, you know? Modern day anthropology on cultural differences between China or whatever else are really interesting and everywhere. They have not gone away. They've just become less stupid and less racist. But that's what he peddles in, so.
You see no actual interest in how foreign cultures operate, or as agents of their own destiny, with the assumption always in modern social justice culture, being that Western culture is so superior will always remain dominant, and thus other cultures should not be treated as their own agents.
And as we've said, he knows nothing about anything, so when he makes statements about, like, modern progressive movements, he's kind of projecting that onto me. to whoever else. Remember when he was talking with me and he tried that? I swear.
Adopting things from other cultures is cultural misappropriation, which is a weird, very backwards form of the same sort of customs we saw in earlier decadent societies. Decadent societies often do have a degree of self-loathing, and it might be subconscious sometimes, and it might be fully conscious. In the modern West, self-loathing is the furthest out example of this in any history, and this comes from people realizing that decadent society and the cultural worldview it establishes isn't the real one, so people start to loathe that and try to tear away society's foundations.
What? What?
So that they can get more typical reality. But the truth is that such attempts really do more harm than good because they don't see what society's fundamentally wants to survive and what aspects of that society are necessary. It becomes a deep emotional loathing rather than a realistic attempt to reform the society in a way that actually works. I hope...
What? I don't even know what point he was trying to make there. I genuinely don't even know. Being anti-Nazi is bad because it's unrealistic? I have no idea. It doesn't mean anything.
I've helped show that many modern societies are dangerously weeding through decadence. However, the future is changeable and I wouldn't fatalistically expect it to just happen. I mean, that would be a very decadent thing to do. However, how do we deal with decadence in the modern world? I would make the argument that Europe is way further into decadence than America. America still has many thriving structures for capitalism, science, the military, and the like. America has split down a path of greater decadence and standing against it. There are still many people who stand for the expansion of society in real terms, whether geographically, into space, economically, militarily, scientifically.
What the fuck are we talking about? Wait, why would you cite Jordan Peterson here? He's a traditional conservative. Jordan Peterson is against most. Never mind. I shouldn't expect any. Yeah.
Or philosophically in America, which you really don't see in Europe. I'm not trying to describe any...
Oh, here we go. Oh, I think he got deep shit with the bad history and bad maps community for this one. My map of world civilizations, where we have the West, which you'll note cuts through Canada but doesn't include the areas that have more indigenous people in it. And then you have Latin America, which you'll note also doesn't include the areas that have more indigenous people in it. And here's you've got some Africa stuff, which you'll note doesn't include the areas that have the more indigenous people in it. And you've got Asia, which, as you'll note, doesn't include the areas that have the more indigenous people in it. And then you have Australia, which you'll note doesn't include the areas that have the more indigenous people in it. So we've... It's nothing else if not consistent. You know? Excluding southern Alaska, you'll never guess what tribes are there. Yeah, I know. It's almost self-parody. No, well, it is self-parody. What the fuck is this? Orthodox? What? Orthodox. Stretching from Greece all the way over to Siberia? What the fuck? What are we talking about? He means Eastern Orthodox? Yeah, dude. They're just, it's the one culture. The one Orthodox culture. Does he mean Eastern Orthodox? Do you think world civilization means like all the same religion? Well, he would like to make it that simple, right? Except he doesn't call the West Christian. Does the Red even label it? They're not even part of civilizations. Like, they don't even get to exist. This is what people mean when they say, like, darkest Africa. They mean, like, it doesn't even get to be a part of anything, like savages, like, outside of historical acknowledgement. They're nothing.
He's about to...
Here there be dragons. Squiggly lines! Dude, squiggly lines! Look at this. You know motherfucker just wanted to draw a rectangle for Sahel, and he was like, wait, that would make this look totally arbitrary. Squiggly little lines. Scrungle, wait, where's the scrungle line? You can literally see his, like, mouse drawing it in MS Paint. Like, look, it literally follows, like, what a lazy person's mouse movement might do. It just, like, waves. Scrimblow biblow. It's everywhere. It's all squiggly lines. No, it doesn't even follow a river or national boundaries. How does this match up? The India border next to the Kashmiri-Pakistan border. Hold on. Map of India. Why is it always low res? That's interesting. he includes the Kashmir province as India instead of Islam. That's not a distinction I would have expected him to make. See, you've got that little bump right there.
Too late! Looking at you is painful enough.
And then you've got the wing out here, but he doesn't include that in India. Indic? Sorry, it has to say Indic, because everything here has to read like it's coming out of the notebook of a 19th century anthropologist. Cynic.
I don't...
Any other real societies in the world? Deliciousness. Isn't it something? An aerial billboard.
Teach us about how tasty you are. Where's the crust, brother?
Yeah, there you are. See?
Our billboard. New Uncrustables. Find it in the freezer aisle.
Was decadent. The big Asian civilizations all went through phases of decadence that they were shook out of by European colonialism, which has since forced them to rethink the way they operated. However, for both Europeans and Americans, I would say we have to make a decision about whether we will accept decadence into our society. How should we deal with this?
One of the... Take the vote, lads. Dude, come on. Dick Reinharder. Holy shit. Talk about Elon. Name him. Name him.
Main points to consider is that for intelligent people, decadence is never fun. They can see through the veil of their society running off fumes. Likewise, since there's so little progress and often really irrational social structures, life often isn't the best for normal people either. In a lot of cases, decadence
What are we talking? What does any of this mean?
means as much poverty in the lower levels as debauchery and excess in the higher ones. Society isn't working right. Lots of people aren't happy in decadent societies, but the culture just doesn't have a lot of new ideas on how to get things done in realistic ways, so the society as a whole stagnates. The main thing that benefits from decadence is stagnation. You know, all the people in society who just want to live their life.
What is this resolution? You couldn't find a tie-dye shirt in higher resolution?
To not be bothered with the affairs of the world, they will support decadence, they don't have to think. And also, whatever elite group in your society thrives for lack of action. I think there are two different kinds of decadence that come from the timescales involved. There's a slow, quiet decadence that comes to societies as they get older and stop being able to filter new information.
You might notice, by the way, that in spite of the fact that we watched almost the entirety of this horrible fucking video, the only definition for decadence that he's managed to provide is like when elites get kind of like distant from the values and like reality of the area that they control, and when they like deal with court shenanigans and get in trouble with each other and don't really like feel that interested in doing with the outside world. Which is also, by the way, what all elites do, like all the time. Anytime you have a society that's large enough that it can't be ruled by one village chieftain, you're going to see this kind of behavior, like every time, you know. That's it. Like it's such an arbitrary and meaningless definition. It doesn't refer to anything.
In their worldview. This is how the Chinese didn't use the gunpowder, which they invented, or didn't even acknowledge the West's obvious technological superiority. Spengler called this the winter of civilizations. The second kind of decadence is that of debauchery and lack of moral standard. This is Weimar Germany.
What? But they did. Didn't they have cannons and fireworks? What? The reason the Chinese nobility didn't immediately fucking bow down to the British and say, wow, thank you for these awesome guns, they're so great, is because, spoiler alert, civilizations don't usually do that. Like, when the British show up to say, like, hey, open your trading ports and also notice how we've got super awesome guns, the appropriate response to that is not, oh my god, wow, you're so much better than us. Your military technology is superior to ours in every way. Like, what are you talking about?
Can we...
The era of mass prostitution, drinking, and partying. This tends to ebb and flow with the century society, often as reactions to eras of extreme victory and lack of moral standard. This is Earth civilization. The second kind of decadence is that of debauchery and lack of moral standard. This is Weimar Germany, an era of mass prostitution, drinking, and partying. This tends to ebb and flow with the centuries and societies, often as reactions to eras of extreme purity, horrible wars, or once you get eras of extremely rapid inflows of money.
So here's a quick question. Why is it that earlier he showed the Vikings as an example of a barbaric people? Wait, wouldn't drinking and partying be more of a thing that you'd associate with them? Like, he was celebrating the power and the vigor of, like, the old Europeans and the Vikings and so on. I swear to God, those people drank and partied way the fuck more. Way more than any of us are today, okay? That was their whole shit. Yeah, Vikings, famously celibate and straight edge, you know? Abstinent from both sex and alcohol. Their whole afterlife, they were so about fucking and drinking that their story was that if you died in combat, you get to go to Valhalla and fuck and drink forever. That was literally the shit they could. Literally, like, dude, Christians are so fucking gay, dude. Yeah, dude, if you, like, do good, then you can go on, like, a cloud, and there's, like, cherubs, and, like, you get to live an honest and virtuous... And the Vikings are like, alright, listen up, okay? You better fuck and party while you can, because if you do it really good, you get to do it forever. And if you don't, you get to go to hell, where they're still fucking and partying, but also, like, you get stabbed to death by ogres or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Fun fact, the Roman elite loved sugary wine so much it gave them lead poisoning. Jesus Christ. Based. That's it. This is a party girl. I'm a Roman girl in a Roman world. Calculate the rest of the scrap probably took in 250 milligrams of lead per day. Holy shit! These dudes were giving themselves Tard syndrome. Holy fuck, their eyes are pointed both ways. They're getting goddamn white girl wasted out here on lead wine. Holy shit! That is fantastic. Is that healthy? No. No, it's not. Yeah, lead makes stuff take bleach.
Unless it's a place like Brazil, this kind of debauchery doesn't last forever, since everyone eventually gets tired of partying after a decade or something.
Yeah, the age of partying doesn't last that long because people get tired of partying, unless it's like Brazil or something, I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
Comparing both moral and intellectual collapse with partying is something like the fall of the Roman Republic, in which the moral decay of the Roman nation went with lots of...
No way, dude. No way. You have an example to use from the Roman Republic? That's what we're gonna use to make a broad, sweeping point about the nature of human civilizations. We're going to use Rome? Damn.
Partying and hype. Emperor Augustus was able to reform the Roman Empire afterwards, but Rome was...
Whoa! This is Rome? I thought we established this was, Augustus Romulus and Dr. Bashir Islam that controls this part. I don't know why they're going back on their... Yeah.
Still stuck in the decaying structure of classical civilization, which centuries later resulted in its fall. Our society is in the first group.
Wait, hold on. That's all of Persia. How far did the Romans get? At its greatest height in 117 AD. What? What about this? That's a lot of territory that isn't on this map. Armenia, Assyria, Mesopotamia. They just color it in on purpose? Yeah, this was... Oh god, that resolution. Holy shit. That was the Persian Empire. This is way in the 7th century, but yeah, the Persian Empire was like around here, right? He's including Macedon's empire? Why? Okay, quick question though, why? Because they look the same? This is the first Roman-Persian war map? But why did Greece and Rome rise and fall? But this isn't Greece or Rome. Okay, you know what, never mind. I don't know, man. Oh, well, also, wait, Greece and Rome? Wait, Greece and Rome weren't the same, even remotely wait, what? Just casually, the Alexander's Greece and the Roman Empire? Just, yeah, dude, like, why the Greece-Roman Empire fell, Indian Empire, Chinese dynasties, and, I don't know, the Mansu, yeah, skip that, the Mesopotamian Empire. It's just, why stuff happens, dude? Why does stuff happen even?
Civilization, which centuries later resulted in its fall. Our society is in the first group, and I think we have to worry about our society losing its ability to adapt. We are in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery and 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come...
Wait.
Our society is in the first group, and I think we have to worry about our society losing its ability to adapt. We are in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery and 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This
What? What? God, Los Angeles is disgusting. Griffith Park Observatory is nice, though.
The video was inspired by me going to Los Angeles, and I wasn't shocked by how much debauchery in 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This...
What? What? God, Los Angeles is disgusting.
Civilization, which centuries later resulted in its fall. Our society is in the first group, and I think we have to worry about our society losing its ability to adapt. We aren't in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery in 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This...
What? What? God, Los Angeles is disgusting. Griffith Park Observatory is nice, though.
The video was inspired by me going to Los Angeles, and I wasn't shocked by how much partying was going on in LA, but instead, the bizarre things people spent their money on. Civilization, which centuries later resulted in its fall. Our society is in the first group, and I think we have to worry about our society losing its ability to adapt. We aren't in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery in 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This... to worry about our society losing its ability to adapt. We aren't in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery in 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This...
What? What?
We aren't in the second category, and our society is sadly not overflowing with debauchery in 1920s-style parties. The decadence here is largely moral and has not come through actual debauchery. This...
What? What? God, Los Angeles is disgusting. Griffith Park Observatory is nice, though.
The video was inspired by me going to Los Angeles, and I wasn't shocked by how much partying was going on in LA, but instead, the bizarre things people spent their money on. Something to keep in mind is that this is the highest era of inequality in all of American history, but the wealthy today tend to not be super ostentatious in the same way they've been in other eras of history. Americans and wealthy Americans, I would say, on a higher average basis, are still shockingly hardworking. However, when you degrade the moral foundations of society, the rest of it will fall apart over time. We live in an age where reality is largely what we say it is, not what the real world believes.
What? What? What the fuck? What are we talking about? Reality is what we say it is, but not what the rest of the world believes. If the rest of the world believes something, wouldn't that mean that the world, according to them, is what they say it is? Wouldn't? What?
We are completely high on our abilities and not humble of our own weakness. And we see this with stuff like NFTs, gender relativism, modern art, streetwear, and the like, whose sole purposes are to show that
streetwear, gender relativism, and NFTs. Match made in heaven.
Absurdity and transgress boundaries without any other real purpose. I think the Western world needs to hold two concepts strong in order to forestall decadence. The first is a concept of personal honor. Honor is the idea.
Alright, let's hear this. This should...
Hello, Ethan Klein of the H3H3 podcast.
Hello, Vaj. I just wanted to say...
Hold on, I need you to be quiet. I'm transforming.
Should be good.
The idea that life is a certain degree of value and dignity given to it above merely the roles you were born into.
Why would he show a samurai and then say that honor says that life has worth outside the roles you're given, when the honor of a samurai was entirely dictated by the extent to which they could achieve their profession and life-given goals, to the point that they would kill themselves if they didn't do it well, thus indicating their life had no value outside of the role that they were given. What the fuck are we talking about? How is he showing examples of the worst opposite thing? The opposite thing. Because he's historically illiterate? No, I know, but everyone knows this about the samurai. The samurai did have a code of honor, but it was entirely determined not by the value of life, but by the roles given to them as a product of their profession. And it did become a hereditary class. Yeah, the children of samurai were expected to be... Yeah.
then you can expect this dignity from how people act and defend it inside yourself and as an institution inside society. However, once you remove dignity and honor from societies, as we have in recent decades, we've lost so many moral...
He still wants dueling. He still wants dueling.
...pillars that we can use to forestall decadence. Look at celebrity culture. Apart from the nobility and royalty in previous eras, you would do a...
I like how he doesn't like petty court bickering because he feels like it's divorced from the outside world, but he's also in favor of government officials and landed aristocrats and wealthy and powerful people having duels over that petty drama. What is he talking about?
...accomplish and be glorified by society. However, today...
Dueling is a little cool. I will say this, okay? I genuinely do feel like dueling should be fine, but it shouldn't be with dueling pistols. It should be with fencing. If fence dueling was like an established social trend, I would actually defend it. Like I would definitely defend it. Yeah, 100%. Because in a way, you just want the hats. You don't wear hats in fencing. You wear those mask guards. Vosh, are you serious? No, I'm serious. Okay, here's the thing, okay? I feel like one thing that people don't get tested enough on is conviction, you know? So one way that you can test conviction is on gambling. If you believe this so much, then why don't you put money down on it? But it's not considered to be a very honorable or very socially acceptable way of resolving high-level disputes. Like if there are government officials that are saying X is going to happen, like say, for example, back in 2018 before the primaries, whether or not there would be a giant caravan of migrants coming up that Donald Trump had used the National Guard to defend against, you know. So it would be like, well, if you really think that's going to happen, why don't you put a bet in on it? But the thing is, people don't really do that. So what if instead, people who are in power are just expected to get good at fencing? How about that, huh? That's what we got to do. Fencing is safe. Do it with any melee weapon, though. There are only so many safe melee weapons, you know. It is safe. Wait, no, fencing is actually really safe. That's not a joke. It's safer than boxing. Fencing is safe, yeah. The swords bend when you stab somebody. Why not boxing? Boxing isn't safe. Reject safety, embrace dueling with pistols. Yeah, okay. Well, you can do... Look, you can still do that, alright? You know, it's not like it's impossible to go fucking pistol duel with somebody these days. All I'm saying is, if we're talking, if we're talking government officials or nothing, these pussies aren't going to risk their lives. We need to give them a little fencing. Does anyone remember that bit from the James Bond movie, Nightfire? No, not Nightfire, that's the game. The one where he does the fencing with the other guy? Like it's one of those Bond moments. My name is Dr. Harrington Kensington, and I'm interested in this expensive retreat that you have. Die Another Day? Is it Die Another Day? And then the other guy's fencing, and then they fence. That was the only good part of that movie. That movie fucking sucked. That movie was shit. But that was a good part. And then he, like, punches through the display case and pulls out, like, a claymore and starts swinging it. That was cool. Terrible movie. Dance-offs would also be acceptable, I think. The story of Irish traveler Dr. Cheney and Tyson Fury that fist fighting is socially acceptable among Irish travelers for this reason. They're unlikely to kill each other. They can put their body where their mouth is. Why not? I mean, if we want to get body about it, like why not just fuck each other? You know, just why not? Okay. How many dicks would you suck in case your thing doesn't come true? That's what I'm talking about. Okay. We need a dick off there. Hey, Mr. Trump, you claim that a migrant caravan is going to attack the U.S. in 2018. How many dicks will you suck if that turns out not to be the case? Cock wrestling, exactly. Gosh, yeah, let's bring back legal duels. That will surely not disadvantage the economic class who can afford duel instructors, take time off from work to train and practice. Oh, come on! Really? We can't encourage Donald Trump and Biden to fence each other because it might be classist? Please, come on. No fun allowed. Everyone put up the... Nah, alright, back to the video. What about Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling? Hey, you want to know a real classist form of dueling? Magic the Gathering. Alright, sorry.
Hey, we pick celebrities who are popular since they're relatable. We glorify celebrities who make fools of themselves publicly since we don't feel judged by them, and so we don't feel like we have to have a higher moral standard in our society.
What? This is such boomer posting, dude. Holy shit. These celebrities are not good role models, therefore society is falling. Yeah. Dude, what about come on, what about Warhammer? Come on. That would be the real classism though, you know? Like some journalist would publish an op-ed shit-talking a politician, like some wealthy magnate or whatever. The politician would be like, well, I do declare that you've done me a disservice. I declare you to duel. And then the nervous journalist is like, oh, okay. They show up at the battle mat, you know. The journalist pulls out his ultramarine, you know, like half-painted ultramarine army, you know, like 360 points at most. Meanwhile, like the team of four of the politician's handlers carry in a palanquin with a giant chest on top of it that opens up into like 8 tiers. Yeah, 50,000 points. Of like fucking Grey Knight with Custodes Astartes and fucking Imperial Guard. Chewbacca or something. It's literally the first season again. Yeah, the only part of it that I remember. Yeah, half painted. No, yeah, and hand painted, you know. Kid bashed all unique orcs. Oh shit! The journalist trembling holds up one of the models of like a vehicle. Kid bashed? No, not kid bashed. Actually, oh wait, sorry, we weren't doing British. We were doing a Southern Belle. You know. Well, I do declare that one there wasn't kid bashed. That's a custom model. Yes, it is. Got it handmade over at Games Workshop. Just myself. Cost a pretty penny. Not as much as this battle's going to cost you though. It's got it's like made out of metal. Okay. Sorry. This hurts me. Can we just watch the video? We're almost done.
By maintaining the principle of honor in our society...
God damn it! Dude, Paradox game players, holy shit. First the samurai, now this fake-ass Crusader imagery. Yeah, dude, Crusaders totally look like this. This is a real thing that really happened. People wearing 4,000 pounds of plate armor, with a horse wearing 4,000 pounds of plate armor, with a fucking longsword and a gigantic steel. This is what they really look like! Don't you know this is what they look like, really? This is literally like politics via 40k. I like how they have like a fucking... Who is this guy supposed to be? Like a priest? Can this guy cast magic? This guy can cast magic, can't he? Yes, he can. In this painting, this guy is the wizard. Yeah, obviously, of course. With the winged fucking helm, the giant cross. Jesus, man. Plate is like 45 pounds. Yeah, this guy's not wearing regular plate. This guy's wearing fucking pauldrons. Do you see this? God. And the cross. What is this meant to be a battle standard? Why is it so small? It's not on the flag. Okay.
Know that we must uphold a higher moral standard that whatever our community happens to believe today.
I remember the Crusades, where the first Crusades was literally just like the Pope rallying hundreds of thousands of medieval peasants up into a march eastward, where they just like killed and raped a bunch of people until they got stopped by a professional army and slumped their way back. Remember that? I remember the Crusades. Those were good. Remember all the other Crusades, where it was basically just like religious colonialism? That was good. Hey guys, remember what happened at Constantinople? Remember them losing? I remember. Crusades would literally murder civilians? Yeah, no shit. They literally thought they were killing subhumans. Yeah.
At a given time, when I'm scared, I try to imagine how many Irish officers died in the noose for rebelling against the English, or how horrible the trenches of World War I must have been. In those cases, my sacrifices appear small according to that perspective. In a society with a strong sense of honor, you can shame people who did dumb things and crap.
If only we had the samurai Bushido code, we could shame the furries. We're too weak culturally to resist the furry influence, but if only the samurai code still existed. What the fuck?
Stuff like attend a sexual furry convention, or buy NFTs since they're dishonoring their inherent value as human beings.
What the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about?
When the Mongols invade, you fight since to not do so dishonor your own value as a human, whether or not your community believes that, or whether or not you live or die. Second idea is faith. Not even faith in God, faith in goodness. The Western intellectual systems...
Modern religious people always try to pull this game where they're like, yeah, the West needs more faith. Not faith in Jesus Christ Almighty, but faith in all of the institutions and cultural signifiers that are given power by standard hegemonic religion. You know, not faith in God, but faith in virtue. And by virtue, I mean what God says. They're trying to, bait secular people in.
Since the beginning has been built off a combination of faith and rationality. Both of these have taken too far of their own problems, with overweening faith resulting in horrifying religious fanaticism, and untethered logic spiraling into Nazism and slavery.
That's where logic leads, huh? Ah, yes, the untethered logic of the Nazis and of slavery. What? I like how he's not attributing Nazism and slavery to failures of virtue, especially given the fact that both the Nazis and slavers used religious justifications for their behavior, but rather to logic gone too far. Yeah, dude, the slavers were all out there doing debate throw tactics on abolitionists and totally weren't just Bible-thumping lunatics.
Rationality cannot exist by itself.
Oh, here we go. A genocide map of the last 10,000 years. So we acknowledge the genocide of the Americas, I guess. Europeans versus Amerindians, a term now. Indo-Aryans versus farmers. What? Farmers versus natives, 10,000 BC. What? That is a term? Okay, well, it's new to me now. Turks versus Indo-Aryans, 500 BC to 1000 AD. I feel like if we're going back to 10,000 BC for our, genocide talking points, wouldn't genocide have happened everywhere? Like, if you go back 10,000 years, basically every part of the Earth that is inhabited would have encountered some kind of ethnic cleansing. 10,000 BC? You mean prehistory? Okay, yeah. Bantus versus the whatever.
There's no one who says human life has an inherent rational value, and it doesn't rationally make sense to enslave the neighboring nations.
What?
These are things that we realize we would not like done to us, and so on moral faith we make the call. The assumption that the modern agnostic world...
Yep, here, we're trying to do the bait. Ideas you have that come from Christianity. So Christianity invented all these things. The equal value of every human being, except people spent thousands of years arguing through Christianity that humans weren't equal, and also there were religions and beliefs that believed this before then. Slavery is wrong, except it was justified through the Bible. The need to search for the truth above everything else, except the Catholic Church would literally, kill... This guy literally, defended the Salem witch trials as a Darwinist removal of unbreedable women. And he's arguing these people are... Okay, the scientific method invented by 14th century monks. Okay, well... The scientific method in its applicable form, as well as the modern secularist movement, which brought about the Age of Enlightenment, was secularist in large part. The individual has value over the group. What the fuck does that even mean? Causing others suffering is wrong. An idea invented by Christianity. Scapegoating the weak is wrong. This was the norm in most ancient religions. I think that you could make... Wait, hold on. Didn't we scapegoat Jesus? I think you can make a decent argument that Christianity was unique in the sense that it was a relatively early incarnation of the idea that the idea of the strong win is uniquely bad. But Judaism already had that panned out thousands of years beforehand. So I don't know. Yeah. Women should be allowed independence from men, the classic Christian value. The rich are not inherently spirit poor, right? So, again, religious people love to do this shit. Basically, what they'll do is the entire history of a religious movement will be against a bunch of values that we now think are good today. So then modern religious people, rather than defending that, will just lie and go, yeah, actually Christianity was in favor of all those things forever. Ignore the fact that everything shown here is entirely antithetical to the average values of like 12th century Europe or whatever, which was Christian. Ignore all of that and ignore the fact that all of the major advances here have been done usually in defiance of religious doctrine. And you've got yourself some ahistorical religious defense. The vast majority of these things can be found in Buddhism and among Hindu philosophical schools centuries before Christianity. Oh yeah, none of this is new to Christianity. Guys, whenever a Christian says that morality comes from Christianity, what they're really saying is they would be raping children if they didn't think they'd go to hell for it. That is it. That's it. I believe in nothing more charitable than that. Nothing is a greater self-report than saying my moral principles stem entirely from fear of punishment that was instilled in me when I was a child. When religious people incredulously argue, well, how can you even have morality with us? It's absolutely psychotic. This is fucking funny. From one of all his Twitter. I told my father my friend group's political goals, and his reply was, "This sounds like you all played way too much Civilization as children. Holy fuck, that's good." Imagine getting owned like that by your dad. Imagine your dad, who's got to be 60 years old or some shit, recognizing the paradox game brain rot.
In fundamentally Christian faith-based understandings of the world that fall apart under logical scrutiny. The problem rationality faces is that without humility of its own failings, it quickly becomes arrogant and tries to overreach, and then afterwards, without the emotional support...
I don't want to read all of this. None of it means anything. Oh wait, sorry, the follow-up. I do wonder how playing Civilization, Paradox, Total War, and Age of Empires will influence the next generation of leadership.
A faith that loses hope and sees no reason to live. However, the truth is that you don't need a reason to be good. You don't need a reason to be alive. You don't need a reason to try to advance the human race, reach the stars, expand your nation. Life pushes on with its own logic. If you stand against goodness and the expansion of life, your logic is wrong. We need to take these...
Please stop making fun of Paradox games. You were literally just talking about Warhammer. Yeah, the difference is that I don't fucking make political prescriptions based on my, Warhammer or Paradox games, whatever. Paradox games on their own are fine. The problem is people will legitimately base their political values off of these, fucking game simulations and make everything sound like a video game. That's what this guy does. The way he talks, he's trying to sound like the description text of the technologies and civilizations that you encounter in those games. You know what I mean? Like when you expand your borders and you encounter the Incan Empire, and then you scroll over them, and it's humbled by the many millennia, knits the tree canopy of the jungle. That's what he wants to be. He wants everything in the world to be categorizable into these distinct taxonomies that are really easy to understand, but are also vague and ambiguous enough that they can be applied to any actual real-world political grievance he has. And that's it,
The articles of faith and first principles in our society. If someone were to argue that we shouldn't colonize space and instead focus on problems on Earth, I would say that we should take on faith that we needed to expand the human race, and doing great projects was good in of itself, we even question. I could give a bunch...
Can't you just... Why does that have to be taken on faith? Can't you just say, A, the space race has given us a lot of technological innovations that do benefit our lives, and B, the spreading of humanity across multiple planetary bodies makes it less likely that the civilization gets wiped out by any given catastrophe? Yeah, wait, you don't have to take that on faith, dude. He just wants to suck Elon's dick? Then why do it through faith? This is what I mean. Yeah, dude, science invented religion invented rationality. Meanwhile, let's say rational arguments in favor of something that's really fucking easy to rationally argue for.
Bunch of policies here, but that's a whole different video, and I think they logically follow from the principles of faith and honor. I think if the modern West can learn to fall in love with these two principles again, it will allow it to escape decadence. Decadence comes from when man turns away from the stars and instead drowns himself in flying. However, even if you're standing still in a rocket, you're still going thousands of miles per hour towards the heavens.
I really wish that I could, tie this guy to a chair and talk to him for 40 hours or something. Just a really long time. And have him cooperate. He'd have to answer my questions and stuff. Bro, what is he saying? I don't know, he's insane. Can I say ableist stuff? You want to be his therapist? Well, I do think that, like, behavior like this has to stem from a broken mind. I mean that sincerely. I don't mean that as, like, hyperbole. People think my ableism is a joke. No. I'm sincerely ableist, okay? Give me some credit. No. When I see stuff like this is a thoroughly broken mind. Guys, I talked with him for 50 minutes before he ran away. Do you remember what that conversation was like? He is unreachable, you know? Like, don't get me wrong. Every human has a barrier in their mind. There's thought, and then there's the world outside, and sometimes getting things between them is not always easy. That's the case with me and everyone in chat. But he is something else. He is impermeable, and I genuinely think that it stems from some kind of mental problem. Personally, I think it's cum brain. I think he has never come. I can defer, I guess, to his appearance. I just don't think he's ever come. I do believe that. And I think that if he ever came, it would drain the levels. And the cum would go lower, because right now it's backed up. And it would go lower. No, I'm not saying it's because he's unattractive. I don't think he is unattractive at all. It's because he looks like he's LARPing as a Christian, like, youth minister. It's because he looks like he's terrified of women. It has nothing to do with his appearance. Very different, yeah. Would you date What If Alt History? I would date somebody who looks like What If Alt History. Well, probably not. I don't like beards. But I think he's cute. That's not the thing. It's not that he's not cute. It's just I think he's terrified of women. And as such, the cum levels have risen up way too high in his brain. Gosh, I don't cum and I'm not anywhere near this moronic. Maybe he has really big balls that make thoughts of cum, you know?
There was so much blood. It was...
It smells like cum is always leaking out of his ears. How many historical paintings did we see in that video that had chicks with their tits out? There were like 5 in there, right? I don't know.
No one's past this.
I don't know. Remember Black Pigeon? He was simping for Elon. Well, yeah, all the far right people simp for Elon. It's not really that surprising. Didn't Black Pigeon Speak's channel get deleted? Or it might have gotten reinstated. Man, his views are way lower than they used to be. Oh, he took an 8-month break, and then he made 4 videos, all of which are like less than 100k views. Yeah, okay, I don't care anymore. L off plus L plus ratio, etc., etc. Yeah. Pretty sure his channel survived the Nazi purge. Maybe they were too boring. The YouTube moderation team couldn't get to them all. Yeah, anyway, What If All History is fun. These videos, like Spirit Science, are fun to get into, but they have to be done in moderation because they are destructive in significant quantities. What's my big prescription at the end of all this? Again, there's not really anything coherent to, like, dig into with his videos, so it's kind of hard to even say much about them. Yeah, it's like Spirit Science tier. It's the not even wrong tier stuff.
What's up, Greg, and welcome back to a very special video. I have something super exciting to show you guys today, because I think I have found my new favorite TV show. It's called Mountain Monsters. The reason it's so exciting and so special to me is that you guys have seen me talk about kids' channels on YouTube, right? Think back to, like, when I talked about the Scherer family, remember? That family that was obsessed with finding, like, a pond monster in their pond in their backyard. Or you had those YouTubers who wanted to find the Game Master. They had this villain that, like, they were always chasing in their videos, and it was all clearly fake, and they never found him. And it kind of seems like they didn't really write out the script at all, and they kind of just made it up as they went along. Well, I have found a TV show that is like that, but instead of on YouTube, it's on TV, and instead of for kids, it's for people who watch the Travel Channel, which I don't think is kids. But this show is legitimately like the quality of a 2016 children's YouTube channel. It's awesome. It seems like it's unscripted. They just stick around in the woods. I love it. I have not watched an entire episode of it yet, but I've watched a lot of clips of it on YouTube, and it is my new favorite show. I'll show you one of my favorite clips of it right now. It's called Buck, Huckleberry, and Jeff Are Kidnapped.
Wood County, West Virginia. The back road team pushed all three of our guys in the back of that van. Me and Wild Bill's gonna haul ass across this field and try to catch up with them.
The only downfalls in the show is that all of the members of the Mountain Monster Hunting Squad have the thickest southern accents in the entire world. The show needs subtitles like 100% of the time, so if you're not following right off the bat, I don't blame you. Here's what's happening. So this show follows this group of mountain monster hunters. They hunt monsters in like the southern United States around like the Appalachian area. And I guess during one of their mountain monster hunting activities, Buck, Huckleberry, and Jeff, three members of the crew, are kidnapped by masked men. This immediately intrigued me because in this show, their only adversaries are monsters. You'll see, it's like they hunt like Bigfoot, Wolfman, Chupacabras, etc. So the idea that they're getting kidnapped by three men wearing masks is very intriguing to me. It's like, are they working for a monster? Are three like normal guys, their day-to-day job is working for a monster? Does it pay them? But nevertheless, these three get kidnapped. The other two members of the crew are there looking, watching it happen, and they go off chasing them.
Now you can have your camera back. You don't know where the hell you're at. You can film all you want now, big boy. Say cheese!
The van stops, a guy gets out and comes back and gives us our camera.
Super nice of them to give them their camera back and to let their entire camera crew actually come with while they're being kidnapped. Very generous. Kidnappers don't usually let them do that. Also, in this moment, I feel like we should be worried for these three guys' safety. Being kidnapped, they're taken somewhere they don't know where they are. They're probably going to get eaten by a monster. But then they start showing clips of like confessional footage of them talking about what was happening that was clearly taken after this whole thing subsides. So I'm no longer worried about them at all. Obviously, they're all safe after this.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Keep the fucking talking to a minimum.
Jesus, dude, they switched up so fast. They were like, go ahead and record. Yeah, film as much as you want. Here's your camera even. We'll smile and say hi to your camera. And then they're just like talking in back about how scared they are. And the guy's like, shut the fuck up. Keep it down. Keep the talking to us. Keep the filming to us. You don't want to get inside. Maybe they don't want them talking because it's going to ruin the footage. They know how good this is going to be for the show. Shut the fuck up. It's going to ruin it. The show. We're going to make great TV together.
Me and Brother Wilkins, we'll recon around this cabin. We're going to get up there and put an eyeball on it. See what the hell's going on with our team members.
I don't know what it is about these guys, but every time it cuts to a confessional, not only are they just like incoherent, but they're also screaming.
See what the hell's going on with our team members.
It honestly actually makes it seem like whatever is about to happen is extremely traumatizing. If like when they get them in front of the camera for the first time afterwards, they're like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Anyway, the masked men take them to this cabin in the middle of the woods. They take them inside. They chain up the cameraman, and then they sit them down.
The light hits on right in our face. You can see a mirror on the wall, and you can see a speaker and a camera. I've never seen a place like this, but it looks like an interrogation room.
A mirror? A speaker? And a camera? I've never seen a room like this in my goddamn life. That's the scariest, most nonsensical combination of things I can think of, dude. A room has no right having all three of those things. Actually, I hate to admit it, but the room I'm sitting in right now actually does have all three of those things. A camera, a speaker, and then there's a mirror over there. Because I'm a monster.
I've never seen a place like this, but it looks like an interrogation room.
You've never seen a place like this? There's literally episodes of this show where you guys like fight Bigfoot, and you're thrown for a loop by a room with a camera and a speaker and a mirror.
This whole situation is weird.
I mean, yeah, man, I agree.
Hello?
Oh shit, he said sit down. Sorry. Oh no, dude, it's another human clearly wearing a mask. No!
It appeared said sit. I sat down.
I love this dude. This dude's name is Buck. His commentary that they cut to every time is literally just like repeating exactly what just happened. It's a shot of him sitting down and then he's like, I sat down, man.
You're the guy that killed the Stonish Giant. Yeah.
Fuck! That was our only guess.
A deal? Let me tell you what right now, old boy. There's no way in hell we're gonna help you kill another damn Bigfoot.
Starting to think these guys might be a little bit out of their element. They actually have no clue what's going on. Do you know who I am? Yeah. You're the dude who killed the Stonish Giant. No. Oh, that's right. Then you want us to kill a Bigfoot. No, I'm Brian. From the party last week? You don't remember me? The Stonish Brian? No, just Brian.
The woman of the woods. The woman of the woods is someone we don't want to mess with.
Okay, that was clearly just one of them wearing a hood, right? Like very clearly just like an old man wearing a hood in a thermal camera. I like that this is the clip they show for the woman of the woods being someone you don't want to mess with too. Like the only thing I'm getting from this is that like they have a hot body temperature. You do not want to deal with the woman of the woods, dude. It has a fever. As you can tell from this clip, she is scalding hot.
This team's already had one heck of an encounter with her. When we were in Lee County, she touched Huckleberry and Jeff and marked them for death. She affected Jeff's mind, maybe for life.
Now you're probably thinking, dang, poor Jeff. This dude gets attacked by a woman of the woods and his brain is still like all fried from it. Well, let me tell you, dude, you don't even know the half of it, because this kind of shit happens to Jeff in every episode. I don't know what it is, but from every YouTube clip I've watched, if one of them gets attacked by a monster, it is Jeff. And every time, he is traumatized. As you could probably tell from the clip of him screaming. I think they might all be in the wrong profession, but especially Jeff. Please, Jeff, find a new job.
All right. We help you get this woman in the woods. How's this benefit us?
Yeah, Buck, are you really the one that should be brokering this deal? Are you really the one with the authority to be like, all right, yeah, we'll do it. We'll go back and capture the woman of the woods. No skin off my bones. Jeff is just sitting there sweating. Yeah, we will, we can totally help with that. No, that's fine. I liked it. I liked the woman of the woods.
Kill it?
Yeah, he already said that, dude. Are you guys paying attention at all? How do I know the lore of the show better than you do? Why do they keep trying to pin the Stonish Giant on this guy like they're crooked cops or something? Where were you on the night of the Stonish Giant's death? Oh my god, dude, for the last time I did not kill the Stonish Giant. Aha! We never mentioned that the Stonish Giant even died. Yeah, you did. You did like 5 times. Oh yeah? Then explain this. That's a picture of you holding the Stonish Giant's decapitated head. Did you kill it? Ah, shit, I've been caught again.
He said the liver who killed the Stonish Giant. If he can make good on that deal, that's something we're really going to have to consider.
That's something that I'm really going to have to consider, and Jeff's really going to have to deal with.
Yeah, you kind of did.
You kind of did. 30 seconds ago when you said you didn't kill the Stonish Giant.
I didn't kill the Stonish Giant!
Why is that a big surprising moment? I don't know everything in the whole world!
Where'd you go?
So the skeleton disappears, these guys get all pissed off and they're like, where'd he go? They're sick of all the riddles and all of the cryptic messages, so Buck takes a chair and he just slams through the glass to try to get to the bottom of this. And let me tell you, nothing will prepare you for what they find on the other side of this glass.
Oh my God. It's a haunted. What the hell?
Maybe this is that's crazy, but to me, if you hunted monsters for a living, like weird cryptic things like this wouldn't be that surprising to you. So I just love how surprised they are. And like the notion that this is totally outlandish, totally out of the realm of possibilities after they were just talking about like hunting the Stonish giant. Just the fact that they found a hog's head. A hog's head? Doesn't make any sense.
All of a sudden, right there behind him, there's a damn hog's head.
That's so true, Huckleberry, dude. That you could not have said it better. It was a hog's head. I love the sound effects in this show so much. They get so much mileage out of those impact sound effects. And I love a good impact sound effect as much as the next guy, so I really appreciate how many they were able to get out of that hog's head reveal.
Oh my God. It's a hog's head. What the hell? Blood coming out of its nose, its ears, its eyes. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know, man. Don't ask me. They go up to the hog's head. Did you kill the Stonish giant? And the other two members of the gang show up and they make their way into the back room to get a closer look at the hog's head.
Holy shit. I'm telling you guys, there was someone in here.
Dude, if this is the skeleton's lair, he's actually got kind of a sick setup, dude. He's got like a Pepsi vending machine fridge here. He's got a little sink in the background. Skeleton's not living too bad, honestly. Half expecting it to pan over. There's like a gaming setup. He's got one of those sick gaming chairs and 2 monitors.
They're gone. There's nothing else we can do. We have a lot to fill you two in on. Let's do it away from here. I don't feel safe.
Oh, dude, what happened? Why not? You okay? Did something happen? I don't get it. Now, you might not have realized it, but each one of the members of the team actually has specific roles on the team, as you can see in the, like, opening of the show. You got Trapper, the team leader. You got Buck, the expert caller. He might not be an expert himself, but he will definitely call one for you. You got Huckleberry, security. Can't believe that motherfucker was security the whole time, dude. What did he do to prevent them from getting kidnapped? He was sitting there with them chained up, just being like, I just gotta keep my eyes peeled in case anything funny happens. Good thing this is all very ordinary to me. Then you've got Jeff, the researcher. He's always researching different monsters, different ways of kind of healing from the trauma that his adventures have put him through. Willie, the trap builder, and of course, Wild Bill, the expert tracker. He's gonna track down the experts and then Buck's gonna call them over. Now you probably want to see them actually getting into action, you know, hunting a real monster. Because in that first clip, they were kind of honestly being hunted. So you want to see them in their element, going to investigate some kind of supernatural monster sighting. Which brings us to this clip, famed creature attacks the Ames team.
Alright guys, the next creature we're going to investigate is one we have a history with. We're going after the Cherokee Death Cat.
One thing you'll come to learn through watching clips of this show is they have a history with every monster. You could name the most obscure monster ever, the Patagonia Pants Swindler, and they'd be like, oh yeah, we've got history with that guy. Yeah, Buck actually dated him in college, right, Buck? Yeah, you do not want to mess with him, man. They'll swindle your pants.
We know this death cat is nothing to mess with. It's a huge feline, weighing in at 500 pounds.
Holy shit, dude, that's what it looks like? Oh my god.
Weighing in at 500 pounds.
500 pounds? This thing is jacked. Why did they make it so muscular? Look at the size of its arm, dude. The crazy thing is, if they got close enough to it with their camera crew to get a detailed enough idea of what it looks like that they could make this 3D model, why not just show the clip of it? That's what I want to see. I want to see real footage of this thing. Don't show me a fucking 3D render. Unless this was the footage that they got from it. In which case, give your cameraman a raise, dude. This is some crazy footage. Dude, I'm gonna go to a personal trainer, and when they ask me, like, what kind of body type I want, I'm gonna show them a picture of the Cherokee Death Cat. Yeah, I want arms that are sort of like 3 feet wide, and I want spikes coming out the front of my face. Basically, just make me an abomination. Just make me a horrific, unnatural entity.
Well, we heard you had a pretty interesting encounter out here. Oh, yeah, we did. When we're coming out of the woods, I was along about that tree right back there. And Dad was in front of me on that little bank, and he just stopped dead. He said, did you see that? And I said, see what, Dad? He said, that big cat. He said, son, that cat was 8 or 9 foot long. He said it was huge. Dad,
8 or 9 feet, man. Dude, if that cat they showed was 9 feet long, that's so big. I'm sorry, Buck, Huckleberry, and Jeff. You do not stand a chance. What are you gonna do? A 500-pound, 9-foot-long demonic lion? What is your plan? This dude, Huckleberry, is not enough security for you guys. You're gonna need more than Huckleberry to protect you from a 9-foot-long lion.
And Dad said leapt through the air and hit right there on that bare spot on that tree.
Okay, so the story is that this lion jumped from this log all the way over teleported that tree. Somehow landed in this tree without snapping it in half, first of all. And his dad saw it and he didn't? How do you miss that? If anything, you would at least hear it, right? You would hear, like, the loud thud of a 500-pound creature slamming into a tree. What were you doing when this happened?
I'm interested to see how far it is from that log up to where it went up to that tree. That's a pretty long shot. I want to get a measurement, see exactly how far this big cat jumped.
That's right, Buck. That is what you did. Good memory, man.
These big predator cats, they don't fool around. This thing could be on top of you before you blink your eyes, and you're done.
Something big's been through here.
What's your solution to that? He was like, man, this thing could snap my neck from behind and I would never even know it was there. Well, anyway, let's go. So their plan right now seems like just to walk into the woods with hunting rifles, and that's their whole plan. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Bullets would even have any effect on that monstrosity. But if it did, imagine them finding this, like, one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime species that no one's ever seen before, and they just fucking kill it. They find out it's actually a completely peaceful creature, like it didn't even want to kill them, and they're still like, get it!
Check this out. It's a feed post. This is fresh feed, dude. We just found a scent post. You can see claw marks almost 7 feet in the air and fresh urine at the base of the tree. This has to be the death cat.
It does? The only thing I can think of that can scratch and pee is a death cat that no one has ever seen before. Okay, guys, warning, here comes another oopsie-daisy we traumatized Jeff moment. So the other two guys, Buck and Huckleberry, start to walk off into the woods now realizing that Jeff isn't with them. Jeff, meanwhile, is still staring at the tree that has claw marks and pee on it, like he just realized that there was a claw mark and pee on it.
Hey guys, the claw marks on this tree.
Yeah, Jeff, they all saw that already, man. They talked about that like 5 minutes ago. You were also standing right there, so I don't know how you didn't see that. Jeff is useless, man. I'm starting to think that actually the other people bringing him along is actually a little more nefarious than I first thought. I think his purpose there is to be fed to a monster. I think they bring him as bait. They've kind of realized that monsters sort of gravitate towards him. He must just have that kind of energy that like monsters want to hurt him. So they just bring him along to like attract the most horrid things on the earth. Anyway, Buck and Huckleberry walk out of sight, and they're walking for a long time before they realize that Jeff is gone, and then Jeff starts hollering from within the woods.
Yeah! Here's the tree we left him at. He's out here.
Here's the tree we left him at.
Here's the tree we left him at.
You guys didn't even realize you left him until you were like a mile away from him. How do you know where you left him? See, it's shit like that that makes me think that they're up to no good. Here's the tree we tied him to. Where'd he go? There's like a trail of blood leading away. Oh, thank goodness. This'll lead us right to the monster. And Jeff, of course. And our friend Jeff.
Yeah, hold up, Jeff. Yeah, grab it. Yeah, they lost eyes on me. Oh my gosh, that scared me to death. Jeff, talk to me, dude. What's wrong?
What's wrong, Jeff? What the fuck, man? Why won't you talk to us? He already said it locked eyes on me, and they're like, what's wrong with you, dude? You're acting weird.
We just got up to Jeff, and he shook up.
Jeff, settle down.
What happened, dude? Still taking his breath. What?
Did you kiss the death cat? Buck's like, what? Did you just say? Dude, you know the death cat have a history, right? That's kind of fucked up.
Are you hurt anywhere, Jeff?
Are you hurt at all, dude? He looks fine to me.
Jeff said when we got separated, that death cat came out of the tree right on top of him.
I'm just imagining he's doing this confessional like right outside the car window where Jeff is like freaking out. Jeff almost died! That idiot almost got killed by a death cat, dude. Can you believe that?
I think the best thing we can do is get Jeff out of these woods, come on, and try to talk to him in the morning. That could have ended really, really bad.
Yeah, that could have ended really bad, man. Thank God it only broke Jeff's mind. Alright guys, well I hope you've enjoyed this look at Mountain Monsters, my new favorite TV show that I've never watched. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and turn on my notifications to join Greg. Greg's what I call my subscriber base here on YouTube. We are the fastest growing army on YouTube. Please do not look that up. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Billiam. I've been gone for a while. I've gotten a little lost in my work. I'll explain a little bit more later. Oh my god.
A briefcase? What's in it? As a fan of the show Lost, I always hold my breath when I bring it up to others. People have opinions. Either they've seen the show and think it's brilliant yet flawed, or they've seen it and think it's a total plane wreck. Option 3 is people have only heard the title and think it's a ripoff of Survivor. It's not. In its most simple explanation, Lost is a network TV drama about a group of plane crash survivors living on a mysterious island, filled with all sorts of weird things, such as a monster in the woods, a mysterious hatch that no one can seem to open, and polar bears. Initially strangers, each episode explores one of the characters in flashbacks, which reveal each one of their fully loaded backstories. While they're stranded somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean, we learn back home in their old lives they were even more lost. However, they have to overcome their differences and different personalities for survival, because if they can't live together, they are going to die alone. In a more complicated explanation, Lost is like every TV show ever made rolled into one spicy little mysterious blunt. The best take
What did I
I've
just
ever
pick
heard
up?
is that Lost is like progressive rock, going from a simple survival show with sci-fi and fantasy
Okay, that's a
elements to a more
raspberry.
hard science fiction
It's
show,
like,
and
wait,
ending as
that
a
thing looked
spiritual
like...
fantasy. It's no wonder why so many dismiss Lost as something that was just made up as it went along. It went on for like 6 years straight, with dozens of storylines that set up an endless stream of mysteries. It was often criticized for raising many more questions than it answered. Where are we? I've been working on this video for months. Originally, I was going to cover the entire series in just 2 videos, but as I kept doing more research and going down the rabbit hole, it's gotten a whole lot longer. While the creators of Lost did initially throw a bunch of ideas to the wall, to say the show was just made up as it went along, as it's often remembered, is an unfair dismissal of the show, in my opinion. This is a multi-part video series. In this first video, I want to do a deep dive just on the show's first season and its history, because, well, no one involved really wanted to make it. It was considered to be that stupid island show some ABC president really wanted to get off the ground. But it's only because of the flexible and collaborative creative process of the first season, quote, making it up as they go along, that it ended up being good, in my opinion. The process of figuring out what this stupid island show was really going to be about was a discovery process. But with mystery being such a big element to the show, discovery was kind of the perfect creative process. But even as the creatives were able to discover the story within this stupid island show, they had another obstacle to overcome. The network not allowing them to end the show and actually execute their planned story. Disney and ABC had a hit on their hands, and a network...
Hello, whoever you are.
Uncommon.
Not sure. I just see someone arrive to my stream. That's nice. I'm just doing some shit. Alright.
Well, get on with it. I'm a deep gnome, you're a drow. You what then? My own fault. Take my pack if you can find it.
Another invisibility scroll, another invisibility potion, that's good. Although I probably won't need it. At least not for what I'm doing right now. Operation Get the Gloves. But first, get the book. Encumbered by it.
Why? A reader with decadent tastes, perhaps.
Oh, maybe a bit of a drinking problem.
Yeah, whatever. losers. 4 losers walking down the road.
Have a lot on my mind and, well, in it. Still breathing, despite everything.
What's next, I wonder?
Can't give up now.
That's curious. Bodies everywhere. Accident or sabotage?
My face protects me.
Never a dull moment.
Softer than a whisper.
That might be worth a look. be cautious. Hope this ends well.
Fallen warriors, their days of glory long since past.
Smoke. Something's burning. I hear shouting. Someone needs help.
Grand Duke Raven Guard could be inside. Don't just stand there. Push!
Inside! Hurry! We don't have much time.
Hello? Can you hear me? We hear you! Stay where you are!
We don't have much time! Find out!
If not over, then through. The heat coming off. Opening it could spell trouble. Another trick up my sleeve. Bodies for the harvest. Seems like a good moment to talk. Open up. Right tool will do the trick. Still breathing, despite everything. Here goes nothing. What's in here? What's up for discussion?
Come!
Need to find a way forward. At least things have stayed interesting. How much further can I go?
Slaughtered everyone. Mary! Mary! Where are you?
You're bold. Listen, I must report. And you. May I trust you'll see it through? Thank you. Go. I will seek...
That will fit in my pack. I should speak up. Miri, you should have stayed. I was in a... If I just kept my mouth shut about that bloody dowry for... She said I'd never see her again. Please. Oh, Miri. No. Surprised this hay hasn't gone up in flames yet.
Surprised this hay hasn't gone up in flames yet.
Someone's hidden a chest in the hay.
Something's moving around in there.
You spot a man.
Bugger! Little serpent, long... Entrance is...
Look at that.
That's far enough. What's your business down here? Answer honestly and maybe we'll kill you clean. Trade with what? But we've disarmed the traps.
No time to rest.
Not many. I could use someone with your skills. Some of our... Find them. Keep them alive if you... God damn it! Actual... Our trader can show you some of our...
Free me now, and I'll see that my patron rewards you. It's happened before.
Well, if you have the gold, my pet artist will make you a most heroical likeness. Did that artist really paint all those things? Something I can help you with?
Haven't seen that game in years.
We'll need a cover story.
Shove over, Claw!
Voices, aerial vision, clouds, leaving you in a... Then there are
These aid.
The visions fade.
My power grows.
Sounds like they've captured themselves a bard.
Nothing beats the taste of
Oh, a stranger in a fair camp. He'll follow by far and wide for great glory.
like this.
Draw Ragslin's best. Or be you beheaded. Goblin kind will tease you and frolic you when redded. His name is Draw Ragslin, his voice absolute. His troops will disarm you and grow you the truth. Laugh if you dare, recoil if you must. A new age is dawning with goblins and trust. Mountains, great mortals, all ginders to quake. The true souls are coming with fragulous crown and with scepter abraid. Draw Ragslin, short work of the innkeeper made. The inn burnt to ash. The captives were many. Goblin kind had reduced them to cowering filfenny. So raise it, your goblets, and drain them with pride. Draw Ragslin, the true soul, had let you glide.
You, move off!
Do as she says, now. Now, where was I?
Wait a tick. That a friend of yours?
Certainly not. What are you doing? I'm busy here.
You lying.
To who? Never. Come, let's continue our ballad. Draw Ragslin, draw Ragslin. I am Draw Ragslin. Tumptuous. Draw Ragslin.
You broke him.
Wait, wait. Draw Ragslin. We pray. We.
Come on, pigeon. Back to your cage.
Now look what you've done.
Come on.
Of course.
My name's Gribbo, idiot.
Welcome, your greatness. I've got some good stuff if you're looking to buy.
Keep that bird away from the merchandise.
Not up for trading today, I'm afraid. Surely no one will notice. All mine.
You going on the next raid? Bring sword through his head and crush it.
No more sparky stuff for him.
Oh,
Then he lifts up this place.
that weren't a wizard. It was a bloke with a torch. Oh, come on now. They're just having a bit of fun. Oi!
The mark glows, but you feel nothing.
Your kind usually don't deal with Boss Ragslin and Priestess Gut. Guessing you're after Minfara. Could be her blood by the looks of you. Audience is right. She's an uppity one and no mistake, but she knows her business. She's in telling the war chiefs what's what. Next raid's gonna be a big un, I hear.
just having a bit of fun. We got them now, eh? And once the whelp starts singing, we'll know who sent them.
He's here in return. That'll be some real fun.
That one landed. It doesn't look like anybody's watching, but you know. If anyone is, just leave comments on the video and I will be able to see them.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
That the jingle of coin I hear? Already turned quite the profit today. You recognize the crest she bears. The winged serpent of the Zentarim. Half right, sharp eyes. As their weapons and other... no judgment, no right and wrong, just good deals and bad. That a problem for you? Bit quieter, but good. Seems you're a friend of the family. That warrants a discount. A small one. Pleasure.
Carefully now.
Ah, the family friend.
All right, time to skulk about. Well, that's interesting. What to take? Interesting selection. Not up for trading today, I'm afraid. What to choose? I can take what I please. Using a 5-finger discount. Surely no one will notice.
the family friend. Need something?
Breathe quiet. Move with care. Let's see what you're hiding. Interesting selection. Nice. What to take? A little bit of this. A little bit of that. Well, that's interesting. What to choose?
Seems simple enough. With haste.
If everyone else minds their business, I'll be fine.
Don't waste a step. Better not be cursed. Can't keep me out.
Better be cautious. Best be on my way.
That might be worth a look.
That might be worth a look. Looks like all these moon plates can be turned. This goes very far down. We'll have to go in to see the bottom.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes. Mutatis mutandis!
I've got a long road ahead. Still alive. So that's progress. No wonder.
That might be worth a look. More effort than a pit of spikes. Credit where it's due.
I should speak up. Just out of view. These fungal spores are everywhere. Gods, what's happening?
Slender drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping silent vigil. It feels like you're...
Can't give up now. Road ahead. Timask and torch stalks. Hell of a combination. Get confused by one, blown up by the other.
Your mom... The quiet. You see a vision.
State your purpose.
Fungal, then the soul.
I can descend.
The persistent.
What's up for discussion?
Seems the shrew. You see a fella on his own on your way in. Right. Never mind. My useless husband. Sent him for an errand. It's no surprise he's made a mess of it. Knock yourself out. But don't come begging for you try to ransom him to me. You'll find yourself skint and stuck with a fat old lout. Bald, blue tunic, dumb as a stick.
Show me your wares. Okay, so first thing, do that, get that, get that, get those, get that, get that, get that, get those. Okay, I don't think I can afford any more right now, but I will get the rest when I steal all her shit. First things first, let's just get all of her gold. Crunch down into tiny values. Make it nice and easy to steal. I'm gonna just crunch all the way down to at least, yeah, let's just crunch it all. Okay. Okay, hopefully, I should be able to steal all of that. Because I don't yet have all the resources I need to just super easily get away. 6 is pretty high, but... Okay.
Not up for trading today, I'm afraid.
Well,
Now I use that money to buy this, these. I can probably just steal all these. Like, I'm probably making it harder by buying the high amount of alchemy ingredients. I'll just do it again. I think doing it this way will take 1,000,000 years. Maybe. Yeah, no, that's taking way too long. Let's get it low. For now, we'll go under 20, or 20 or lower, just because I have an overabundance of caution right now, because I do not want to have to run away from this encounter right now. Okay, that. Instead of trying to do the triple, I can just do this. And, oh. Okay, let's just organize them. Might be too slow. Okay. Leave.
Aelin, where are you?
Hide.
What do we have here?
And they're 5s.
I can take what I please from your pocket to mine. Nice. What to take? Using a 5-finger discount. Little bit of this, little bit of that. Interesting selection. What to choose? Surely no one will notice. Well, that's interesting. What to choose? Well, that's interesting. What to take? Not up for trading today, I'm afraid. Surely no one will notice. From your pocket to mine. Nice. Using a 5-finger discount. All mine.
Okay. I think she is basically...
One day I'll catch a break.
Alright, I'm just gonna go give him the scroll so he can get back home so that I can stop worrying about him. So I can get those fucking gloves that I missed out on.
Deep and still fresh. Some monster did this, marking its territory.
That would be the boulette.
Stop! Stop! People bang!
You recognize the name. Bibberbang, a mushroom that releases dangerous spores. Highly flammable.
Alright, let's just make him like me. With a nice donation. Which I will steal back from him immediately. Okay.
I know that scroll. Escape. My bag, please. I've dropped it somewhere. Yes! That's... Yes!
Ooh, nice.
Ah! Oh, I'm fine. I just have to... And then... Here! God. I can finally breathe. Ah, right, as What were you saying? Dareth, I must need to go. For you. Your double. Ta.
Can't risk being in open view. Interesting selection. I can take what I please.
He actually has a pretty high perception.
Little bit of that. From your pocket to mine. Well, that's interesting. Not up for trading today, I'm afraid.
Let's just give him a chance to run away and figure out that he's been pickpocketed and all that fun stuff. Okay, let's just leave the camp. Should be cleared by now. And then if I drink this, I should be able to just leap across to there. Move that there and loot it. And then grab that, pick that up. Okay. Let's give that a moment to clear out before I can go back to get the
should get a mask. The what?
Noble stock?
The mushroom?
I knew I was forgetting.
Look at that. Got my... I suppose that's your... His hands are empty as a whole. We'll have to send him back out soon enough. Love. Balin's meat losing his mind was the only good he ever did by me. Collecting noble stock. That nearly nothing it can't cure. Blindness. To know so. Go on then. Hand it over. Sell it. What else? Worth loads. Give it or don't. Thanking you. I'll be on my way then. Look, I do thank you. Come visit me in Baldur's Gate if you find yourself that way. I run a shop called Bone Cloaks. Balin nearly sunk the shop to pay for a drink. When he was of his own mind. This might allow me to hang on a little longer. You take care out here. The hubbub's died down.
Can't keep getting lost like that.
All's well that ends. Oh, not as bad.
Something the matter? It hurts. A joyous little but don't worry. It's just something I have. Quite a lot, if I'm being honest. Positive. You can trust me on that. If you're sure. A shame. I thought we were doing well together. Perhaps I'll see you at camp. Farewell.
Looking ahead.
We have yet to... He has seen... Shook. You believe you can survive without me? A practical choice.
No time to rest. Never a dull moment. Let's move. At least things have stayed interesting. Let's get going. Let's move. All right. What now?
Children! Look who's here.
Will's brows furrow.
Hells. Old Ravengard's been taken. Then, I know I haven't said. Our relation was no matter of pride. You heard right. My father and I... Such a rift isn't so easily mended. I've been asking myself, what makes a Duke of Baldur's Gate so interesting to the Drow? Even the houses of Men's Oberanzen would have little use for my father. No, this is no Drow plot. These absolute nutters, these true souls are behind his abduction. His absence alone will sow chaos in the city. If they were to infect him, he could lead Baldur's Gate to ruin. All the more reason to find him. The Absolute has seized not just my father, but the future of the Sword Coast. I know. When I look in, I see the blade, and I see Will. I wanted you to know the blade. I'm all for it. That's the
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Again. Swing. Parry. And again. Swing and swing and...
Still breathing, despite everything.
By Mordai's eyes, another one. My friend's blood not enough. Come to rip me open too.
In Kresh Kalir, a formal greeting begins with a bow.
Is this monster with you?
Lower. You saw another gift.
On the road to Baldur's Gate. Saw us for we saw it. Jammed its blade through Yul's belly. Straight to...
No twisting. The map. Up.
By the dead god.
Brutal.
Please. God.
The locals prove compliant. A useful trait. The Tiefling was clear. What a breeze.
Don't give me trouble now. Best get in and out.
And again. Swing and swing and...
Guards!
Vincere.
Guards! Guards!
They're dying for me. All of them.
What now? Better be cautious. On my way.
Time to strike.
Coming through.
At the ready.
I am fury. I am death.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Survival is all that matters. Don't waste a step.
This is my time.
Time to push my luck again.
Finding my way.
Sometimes the only way out is through. Where do I go from here?
Battle favors the fearless. Making my move.
Come on. Can't stay idle.
Another fight. Let's go. Best be on my way.
Well, so much for peace. Have to keep going.
Time to strike.
No time to waste.
My path be true.
coming through. I don't like the look of that mushroom. I should stay clear. That should work. Breathe deep and move.
I am fury. I am death. That might be worth a look.
No choice but to keep going.
I'm coming for you.
Something over there.
Important matters to discuss.
That might be worth a look.
No time to rest. Softer than a whisper. Oh, my hand slipped.
Need anything else?
Need anything else?
I'll give it a shot. This calls for careful footwork. What to take? I can take what I please. All mine. Using a 5-finger discount.